All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of
Go!
Talk Sports. It is the aftermath of week one, the week one overreactions that everyone loves to have post week one. Everyone's survival pool has been absolutely annihilated for various reasons that we will get into on this episode today. But first things first, today is September 11th, which is a very important day here in America. We do not forget, we always will remember the people who tragically lost their lives on this day back in 2001. And today we will be celebrating their life. And Raymond was at the ceremony today. Could not be with us. Obviously, very emotional for him being a firefighter and first responder. So Ray gave us his picks via text again, but today's a very important day and that cannot get lost in the shuffle of everything that happened this weekend. So I wanted to bring awareness to that right off the bat. So
Thank you, Ray.
yes.
Shout out.
Thank you,
Moment of
Ray.
silence.
Man. Man, thank you for your service.
Shout out.
Thank you, Ray.
So we can now begin a little bit with week one. The Thursday night matchup of the Ravens and the Chiefs came down to a toe outside the end zone. Ended up being a very good game. Chiefs end up with the win at home. Big time win. That offense looks more explosive than it has since they had Tyreek Hill. Xavier Worthy is the truth. He had a great first game. He's just the fastest human on the field. Travis Kelce had a quiet game, but because Mahomes was throwing the ball around. He has people to throw to now, except for Juju, who just drops everything. But Derrick Henry's usage was not too surprising. They kind of want to keep his legs fresh for the rest of the season, but he looks really good. The Ravens and Chiefs they match up so well with each other. It's always great games, but I was disappointed with Lamar Jackson a little bit. Obviously he had the rushing stats and had well over 100 yards, but I mean, if he doesn't completely whiff the Zay Flowers throw, then we're having a totally different conversation. It's just with Lamar, for me, I understand he's a two-time MVP, but when he has to make the big throw when it matters most, he has not been able to do it. And he had a great opportunity to show the case and debunk all that on Thursday, and he couldn't do it again. So I understand he probably was the whole team. Isaiah Likely had a great game. Running game was good, like I said. But I don't know. He's not doing it for me still. Call me a hater. I don't know if I'm not really hating. I haven't seen it with his arm.
Listen, that's the same thing I said going into when we did our quarterback rankings. That was my knock on him, that when it came time to be a quarterback and make the throws, could he make the throws? But I mean, man, he is that team. He's the heart and soul of the Ravens. He just puts it on his back, and he is not shying away from contact. He's dropping the shoulder. Might not be the smartest thing to do, but it's showing the rest of the Ravens that, hey, I'm out here to win games, and I'm going to try my damnedest. But when you're up against the best player on the planet, and then you give him an embarrassment of riches, the Buffalo Bills are so fucked up. They already, let's go back to the draft that Mahomes got drafted in. They traded that pick to allow Mahomes to get drafted to the Chiefs. Guess what they did this year? They allowed the best player on the planet to get the fastest player on the planet. Unacceptable when you're the Buffalo Bills, who the Chiefs have been the thorn in your side, and the reason
daddy.
Why your Super Bowl window, that window right back there, Close it. Close it on the Bills. And it's because of the Chiefs. And guess what? It's nothing changed. Xavier Worthy has made this team even more explosive. Travis Kelce can rock the stupid Gucci caps all he wants now, the Gucci suspenders. He doesn't have to do the dirty work anymore because now there's people around. If Rasheed Rice gets suspended, different story. We'll see. But right now,
Notice how he didn't get suspended this year. Wink, wink.
listen.
Well, they want
world, we're just living in it.
Yeah, they want the NFL wants a three-peat so bad. They're not even hiding it.
You know, I was just about to say, you know, when you play Kansas City, especially in their building, you're also playing the refs. I mean, how many times did the Ravens get called for, you know, the illegal formation?
Yeah.
I mean, it had to have been called 5 or 6 times against the Ravens, and it wasn't called at all.
Is starting 30 seconds before the ball snapped on the Chiefs side every time on the right
Exactly.
side.
Yeah, dude. Like, where are the refs when the Chiefs are on offense? So, dude, it's just so crazy to me that, you know, it's almost a given now that you expect the Chiefs to have an advantage when it comes to the referees.
Well, I mean, it was very, very evident. They let Steve Spagnuolo call timeout. You're not allowed to do that. Assistant coaches aren't allowed to call timeouts.
Yeah.
So
where was the penalty on that play?
That's a 15-yard penalty and a loss
Yeah.
of
Yeah. So the referees just decided, no, there's no need to do anything, you know, to negatively affect Kansas City tonight. Let's just make sure all our calls, you know, are on the Ravens. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, how many calls?
Oh, I agree. I agree with you, but also I got to also say, you know, we're talking Lamar and Mahomes, but like I still think Reed is just going to outcoach Harbaugh 7 days a week, man. I mean, the second half, like he gave the ball to Henry 3 times. I mean, he was running the rock the first half. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's
I thought
tough,
that was
man.
so.
I mean, they're
That was
trying.
so. They signed him to be a two-headed monster between Lamar and Henry to run the ball, to do a bunch of read options, and I think the kid
drive,
Justice Hill played good, but like, why are you not running the ball more, especially like week 1? I mean, who cares? Beat the damn ball to Henry. I mean, you just signed him.
I think they're trying to keep him fresh for the whole season, though, too. You know,
I could see that, but you know what? Crunch time, fourth quarter, you're versing the Super Bowl champs. Show what you got. I don't know. That's just my philosophy. But I can understand it. I get it. You want to keep him fresh so he's there for the playoffs.
I mean, the game was there. The game was there to be had. The Ravens still could have won the game with all that being said. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with this idea that John Harbaugh would get out coached by Andy Reid 7 days a week, maybe 4 days a week, because I think Harbaugh did a good enough job in that game coaching to for them to win that game. I do think he did a good enough job.
Well, I mean, okay, sure. I think. Listen, the Lamar down talk a little bit right now wouldn't be as bad as if he made the throw to Zay Flowers and it went to overtime and they still lost.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. No one would have cared because everyone would have been like, well, it's the Chiefs. So, but that was a terrible whiff. We'll see. I don't even know.
Or if Isaiah likely just gets his both feet in bounds, and then we're not talking about this either.
Well, you know, someone spent $65 on him in a bid this week, and he won that bid.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I knew that no one else was gonna bid crazy other than Nick. Nick ended up bidding like $61.
Oh, I was pretty close to that. I bid 57.
It's gonna have a roll there. So you don't just score that much. You don't just get good against Chiefs and then just fall off.
I mean, listen, I get it. You know, Mark Andrews, he's coming back from an injury, and they want to take it slow with him, but he did suit up and he did play the game. And, it's a pretty big deal when you have a tight end who you thought was the backup tight end on the team get 12 targets. So that's hard to ignore that.
Pretty much. All right, we can move on to the first ever foosball game in Brazil. Brazil.
First Friday, baby.
The first Friday game ever in Brazil. And just as I predicted, what a nightmare that was. I mean, the field conditions in Brazil was like MetLife on steroids. I mean, it was just so atrocious. Saquon was slipping and sliding. They were muffing snaps.
They played on a soccer field.
Just terrible. They should never do this again. I hope they never do it again. But with that being said, the Eagles just had more firepower than the Packers, which I thought would happen. Saquon had a ridiculous game, which I thought would happen too. What I was kind of shocked to see was, Jalen Hurts having 3 turnovers. I get the field was a little crappy, but some of those picks were pretty egregious. And
They were bad.
And not having Jason Kelce, the tush push is not the same. I mean,
it didn't look automatic.
It didn't look automatic anymore. And it's probably still going to be effective, but it's definitely not automatic anymore. But Jordan Love got hurt with 6 seconds left. Just egregious.
Shame.
He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL sprain. Hopefully he can come back and be healthy for the Packers. But
the Packers are starting Malik Willis.
I saw that they were looking into signing Tannehill, but that would help them. I mean, even if they split or win 1 or 2 games with Tannehill, I don't think that. I don't know what their schedule looks like down the stretch for the next 4 to 6 weeks, but I could tell you that Tannehill will give you much of a better chance to pull off some wins.
I think the problem though is that because of the nature of the injury and the fact that he's not going to be out probably more than 5 or 6 weeks, that will probably cause them to hesitate on signing somebody like Tannehill, because they're not just going to, release Tannehill once Love comes back.
Oh, I got a few teams, Tannehill. When we get down into the stretch of the recaps of these games, of some teams that could be using him right now. So,
he should absolutely get signed to a team.
He should. We're gonna get.
I think my besides the field being just terrible, you had trainers on the sideline fucking drilling in new cleats, trying to figure out what was going to work on that field. The only thing that was going to work on that field was them running barefoot, basically, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
And Saquon Barkley, man, let's dog.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, did he look good?
Oh, untouchable. The Eagles, they are going to be a force with him.
Dude, he's going to carry them. It doesn't even matter if Hurts throws. He could throw 4 picks. As long as Saquon is healthy, I mean, they could literally run the ball with him the entire game. They'll put up 30, 40 points a week. But their defense, to me, was still very shaky. I wasn't impressed. Maybe that
I don't love their defense. I really don't.
Everyone
their defense underachieves so much.
Yeah.
On paper, that defense should be in the top 3 of the NFL.
I think that's a stretch. I think at least top 10 for sure. But they got some younger corners. I think that I will agree, they definitely should have played better on the defensive side of the ball. So,
I mean, but this Jalen Hurts just strengthens my argument that I had with him in the the preseason quarterback rankings, how I had him as my biggest faller. So turns the ball over a little too much for my tastes.
Yeah, definitely there was way too many turnovers, but you know, to John's point, Saquon just might carry him because we knew this guy was special. He was just so stuck on a shithole his whole career, and now that he's actually on a really, really good team, it's his true talents are being showcased. So next we had the Panthers versus Saints. I mean, just the Panthers aren't even a fucking like. It's shitty being a Giants fan, but I can't even imagine being a Panthers fan. I mean, that team should be in the CFL. I mean, that's
Now,
not even.
now, sorry. Now think about the fact that they've been bad for most of their existence, but they actually made it to a Super Bowl once.
Amazing. But I mean, the Saints, they were just doing whatever they wanted, just whatever they wanted, and it was disgusting. Derek Carr was like, "This is easy. This is target practice, and I'll see everybody next week." That's my analysis.
My only takeaway was, don't slander my man's name. Derek Carr just came out, balled out, and what was it? J.C. Horn.
That dude was playing flag football against the Panthers.
Horn was talking to Carr, and Carr looked at him and said, "I threw 3 touchdowns on you. Shut your mouth. Keep it walking."
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, what they must have listened to like fucking Kids Bop before they came out to play that game. I mean, that team is terrible.
I
think
I
that
highly regret. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think that, you know, I don't really know what to take out of the Saints in general. I think that they did what they were supposed to do. I think just everyone knew that Carolina was going to be terrible. No one really had much expectations for the Saints. I feel like I speak as a whole for, you know, the NFL fan base, but I guess they, you know, they did what they were supposed to do because everyone knew Carolina, you know, was going to be terrible. No one's really that big of a believer in Young. So
No, Young doesn't
Yeah.
belong.
he should.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, the Panthers. I highly regret not making both of my suicide picks last week. Just, you know, every team that plays the Panthers should be your suicide pick that week
Yeah, I should.
because the Panthers are that bad. They might actually win 0 games this year. That's how bad they are. So
Fatal.
they're almost an automatic lock to lose every week.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the worst teams I've seen in a hot minute. You know, they have a real chance to not win a game. I mean, I don't know how do they win a game? Like, their quarterback is not playable. There's not even anybody to throw the ball to.
They're talentless.
They're just no talent.
They're completely talentless.
Brooks to come off the IR and just ball out for one game and that like 4 touchdowns.
He's not even going to have a hole to create a run. He's going to run into some 300-pound moose and get stuffed and say, I don't want to play this shit anymore.
That boy's good, though. That boy's good, though. I'm telling you, you're going to see. If he finds any kind of room, you're going to see. If we watched him at Texas last year, that boy could run. I'm telling you right now.
Well, he's going to run for a different
and
team
the year before
trade.
I'm good with it.
He could run.
Yo, he could run.
Quote the great Deion Sanders. He could run.
He could run.
All right, yeah. Panthers suck. It's not even a
Next.
thing. Vikings Giants. I'll take the lead on this one for obvious reasons. So I'm gonna set the stage. Me, Nick, Dylan, Steph went to the 100th season opener of the Giants. We were there in person. They gave us commemorative coins that were collectible. Not every fan got them. I think only certain 1,000 people got them. me and Nick, as we were in line to get into the stadium, we were looking around and Nick's like, we've been going to Jets games the last couple of years. He's like, I have never seen this many people here before. The Giants fan base understood the assignment on Sunday. They understood the gravity of the moment, being the 100th season opener. The jerseys are atrocious, but the logo on midfield was just gorgeous. Just the classic 1925 logo on midfield was awesome. Seeing the Apache helicopters fly overhead during the national anthem. That building was so loud. The vibes were amazing. The halftime show was great, seeing the top 100 Giants players of all time on the field. That was really, really cool. All around, nice day. And then the Giants walked on the field. So the main headline, of course, is Danny Jones, supposedly Dan Jones with his beard and leg sleeve now, just being absolutely unplayable at the quarterback position. Shocking even the biggest Daniel Jones defenders on all social media apps. It was egregiously bad. One of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen. He's so shot. There's no more confidence. There's no nothing. This kid never had any confidence. As soon as they drafted him, 6 overall, he's never been welcomed here at all. Never been any good besides the 1 year that led us to the playoffs. Daboll has become a shell of himself because he knows he can't play call for this fucking guy. That's why the offense is so vanilla. That's why the offense is always so 5-yard slant here, 2-yard button hook here, because he's calling to the strengths of his quarterback because he is a quarterback coach. And when he knows his quarterback can't do shit, he calls plays for his quarterback to actually do whatever he possibly can. They tried to get Daniel Jones to move a little bit. Either he's too scared or he can't move no more. I don't know. I know he had maybe about 20, 23 rushing yards, but should have ran the ball with him more if he's healthy. That's the horrific part. The defense also was very disappointing. Kayvon and Brian Burns had 0 sacks and only 1 pressure amongst the two. Dexter Lawrence was the only one to get a sack for the Giants defense. It wasn't all bad. They caused 2 turnovers and held the Vikings to 21 total points. I think the defense needs time to gel under the new defensive coordinator. I think they'll get better as the season goes on. There's talent on that side of the ball. Rookie Drew Phillips was the standout for me. Caused that turnover. He was the 2nd highest graded rookie in coverage in all of week 1. Looks like he's going to be a really good player for them. And the biggest surprise was the offensive line. The offensive line was pretty damn good for the Giants on Sunday. They ranked 10th in total pass blocking and 12th in run blocking. It was a fucking miracle. I haven't seen an offensive line for the Giants this good in 6 years. Too bad it didn't fucking matter because the quarterback runs into the sacks. I've never seen a quarterback in my life sit in the pocket for 4 seconds and then run towards the defensive tackle to get sacked. I saw it 3 times. And Steph has heard me say every expletive possible when that was happening. So the Giants cannot be competitive with Daniel Jones anymore. Whatever kind of player he was in 2022 is completely dead and buried 6 foot under a fucking jail, a sane asylum. And there's just no hope whatsoever. Our season ended yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever it was. The Giants, the defense will win them 4 games, I'm sure. Singletary will have a couple of games. Malik Neighbors looked good. He was getting separation, got a few catches, 67 yards. They didn't throw it to him enough. And it was just a horrific showing for the 100 season. Sam Darnold looks like maybe he's having a career renaissance like Baker last year. They got a great coaching staff in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is the real deal with quarterbacks as well. Props to him and their game plan. But I mean, yeah, it's the 2nd year in a row where week 1, the Giants season is over and you're already looking towards the draft. And it's just disgusting. And I'm ready to watch Red Zone the rest of the week and year. So
Yeah.
Zach, I would just like to say My thoughts and prayers are with you. I feel your pain, my brother. I feel it. Trust me, I feel it. I would just quickly like to remind everyone who my sleeper of the week was last week, and it was Mr. Sam Darnold throwing darts to Justin Jefferson, like your boy said. You heard it first. Now, I would like to, our dear Raymond couldn't be here with us this evening, so I would just like to formally disown his giant fandom, as we gave this week was going to be the test to pull him back in. I say he's done. And in a prepared statement, Mr. Ray Tremor, I quote, fade the Giants. I've been right all along about Danny Pennies. All along. Fire everyone. Welcome Belichick. I hate NY. End quote.
Wow.
I don't want
Strong
Belichick.
words from
I mean, I
Sean.
just don't know why Belichick would want to go to a place where he'd have to find all the talent at this point, in his life or where he's at in his age anyway.
He wants the control.
Not coming
He's
back.
gonna come in and be the GM again.
He's not going to come back to coach.
I don't know if any owner is going to allow him to have what he had with Undercraft. I don't know.
When you're that bad, fuck it. If Antonio Pierce, and I'll get to this, if Antonio Pierce does what he did last week, full fucking send. Get Telesco out of there too. I'll fucking take Belichick in fucking silver and black. And really,
I get it. All right, I get it. Listen, the man is accomplished, and the man has shown the ability to coach winning football program, and sometimes that's the hope that you go by. So I get it.
You know what though? Listen, me personally, I think if he's in the right system, Belichick, I think he can succeed, but I don't think a team like the Giants or any rebuilding team is going to be a success. I think it's going to turn into a failure. I think Belichick's coaching has become a little outdated. I mean, he had over 20 years of success. I mean, guys eventually fall off. I think that he has seen the best days so far. I just unfortunately don't think, unless he goes to an unbelievable team ready to win now, I just don't see him holding the trophy again. So I think in Zach's defense, I think it would be a waste of time for them to sign him. I think that they should go out and sign a younger dude. If the season is going to go the way how it did week 1, go sign someone that is going to have a familiar face. They need an offensive coach, man. I mean, they can't move the ball for shit. Listen, as a division rival fan, I love the Daniel Jones signing. I mean, keep him the next couple more years. Give him an extension. I'm joking around. I'm just saying that they unfortunately are in such a mess that I don't think a guy like Belichick would be right for the job. I think he is the type of dude that goes in to a ready win now team where they're hungry and super talented to win the whole thing. The Giants are at rock bottom right now. They need a young new face. They need a new quarterback. They need a couple of things. They have talent. They have talent on the defense, especially. They got a new receiver. Their offensive line didn't look terrible, but they definitely
quarterback that throws more touchdowns than they throw.
A quarterback that could be competent, man. I never was a full believer in Daniel Jones. I always said that listen, it was great for the Giants fan base to be able to watch them go into Minnesota and beat them. But the Vikings at that year, they weren't even a real contender. You know, I didn't think that the Vikings were going to beat many teams anyways, so it was the perfect matchup for the Giants. I just think that it's unfortunate that, you know, that win gave that whole fan base false hope and it set them back.
Zach,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you something. At the end of the game, were you one of the fans waiting outside the tunnel when they were going to their cars, booing
No.
the shit out of
No, and listen, I have thoughts about that. That's embarrassing to me.
Oh,
Like
terrible to watch. Terrible to watch.
Yeah,
that,
it's not a good. It's not a good look.
it's not a good look. Like if you pay your money, boo them all you want while they're out on the field. Like staying after hours to have him like that's just low. It's low, in my opinion. But
My
I
God.
Yeah,
want to. I want
that's when it becomes personal. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I want to hear. Let's have Dan chime in on this before I lose my mind.
Yeah, I agree. You know, to Zach's point, the version of Daniel Jones that we saw from 2022 is obviously just shattered into a million pieces and buried 6 feet under. Because that Dan Jones, because that year he was Dan Jones without the beard. He played with a lot of confidence that year. I mean, the Giants ran, I think, one design run for Daniel Jones early in the game, and you can tell that he didn't have the athleticism. It didn't show at all. He looked timid. He didn't look strong with the ball in his hands. And I'm sure Daboll noticed that right off the bat. And I think that's why you saw, you know, the rest of the game was not called with Daniel Jones running in mind because he's just shot at, man. I think that's it. I think he's toast, and I think the Giants season is toast. And if Daboll's not careful, he might be toast too. And another coach in New York might be toast with them if he doesn't get his act together. So maybe we'll have two in 1 year.
Yeah, to kind of just my closing statement, the leash for Daniel Jones is not going to be very long. Obviously they're in Washington for their home opener. Jaden Daniels, he looked really rusty that first half, and then he looked a lot better that second half. There's growing pains with all these rookie quarterbacks. We'll get to all of them because they all didn't really look anything special. But Washington's the one team the Giants have success over, but I don't think it matters anymore. If Daniel Jones does not play well by week 4, Drew Lock is going to start the rest of the year. They signed Lock for a reason, and I very much think as soon as that plug is pulled, I think Jones gets demoted to quarterback 3, kind of what happened with the Jets with Zach Wilson when they benched him for a really long time. I think that's what's going to happen here, and it's going to be real sooner rather than later. And Daboll knows that he's coaching for his job this year too, so he's going to do what he believes will be the best thing for his coaching career anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating because I do believe that Joe Shane is the right guy to turn this team around. I mean, he added a decent amount of talent to this team. And when your quarterback is just that bad and that unplayable, it seeps into the rest of the team. When your quarterback is not confident and timid, your team is not confident and timid. And it shows everywhere. And like maybe that's how Tommy DeVito rallied the Giants during those 4 games last year, because that kid was confident and had no fear. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be here long. Let's see what I can do. I just think there needs to be a new attitude at the quarterback position. Like we need someone who is confident in what they can do, not someone who just says it to the press every day, but someone who actually goes out and does it. And I know Drew Lock is a character. Drew Lock is very much liked by teammates. So
can I ask what's his injury at the moment? Because people keep saying that he's injured.
He had a hip injury in preseason, but he's active. It's not a big deal at all.
So he's eligible to play if Jones, in case, went down or they took him out.
Oh yeah, no, he was everyone was suited up. The only person that wasn't hurt, and that was the other thing too, as a Giants fan, everybody was healthy except for the punt returner who strained his fucking quad during warmups. And then we had to throw Darius Slayton as our punt returner. You know, everyone was healthy for the first time. The stars were aligning, you know, like, and it didn't work. It didn't work out. You know, maybe that's why Joe Shane wrote this contract the way he did, so that he could just get rid of him this year, just in case. So it is what it is. It's very upsetting. I don't want Daboll to go. I don't want Shane to go. I think Shane will probably survive this because he has added talent. I don't know if Daboll will survive this if he doesn't make a quarterback change and throw up in his hands and go, look, I tried my best. We can't play with this guy, you know? So we'll see what happens. Definitely just very upsetting. So with that being said, we'll move on. Patriots Bengals, the game that a lot of people's survival pools got completely annihilated. You know what? I do have to say, shame on the Bengals, shame on Joe Burrow, shame on Zach Taylor, and shame on Jamar Chase. Your home opener, and you're supposed to be title contenders, and you let the Patriots, who are one of the worst teams in the league, come into your house, run all over you, and beat you. I mean, that was disgusting. Like, they all should be ashamed. They all should be disappointed. I don't know what Joe Burrow was doing. I don't know what Zach Taylor was doing. That to me is embarrassing. And that to me showed that maybe the Bengals are a little bit overrated this year, because there is absolutely no reason that the better coach and the better quarterback should lose like that, because Joe Burrow and Jacoby Brissett aren't even in the same fucking stratosphere in terms of quarterback talent. So that to me was disgusting. It was absolutely embarrassing. And I hope Joe Burrow and company can pick it up next week. And maybe it was just a rough first game because T. Higgins was hurt and Jamar Chase was playing half speed because he's an asshole, because he wants to get paid and they don't want to pay him yet. But either way, there was no excuse for that loss. So very disappointed in the Bengals.
Yeah, really, really bad vibes off of that game. Now, you could just say it's a classic trap game. They were overlooking their opponent, waiting, really looking past their opponent to the Chiefs. And that's who they have this week. They go to Kansas City. You could make a case for that, that they just completely overlooked the Patriots and just didn't even give them the time of day or any respect. That's what it looked like to me. And it looked like Zach Taylor was outcoached. It looked like Joe Burrow was kind of shell-shocked. And it looked like most of the skill position players for the Bengals weren't interested in playing. So really, really not a good look at all.
No, I agree. I think Jamar Chase, he's looking for money. He's looking to get paid, and I don't think you might not get full effort out of him until you get that contract, which is a shame. But I do think that the Bengals definitely oversight on preparing for the Patriots, because everyone thought that was a layup right there. The other thing that kind of concerns me is I saw some videos, Joey Burrow wiggling the wrist around a little bit.
Yeah, he's not healthy. His wrist is not the same.
And he picked up a water bottle like it was like a 50-pound dumbbell on the sideline, trying to like flip it up into his hand, and got a lot of people on the Twitter sphere, or the X, talking that is he healthy? Is it 100%? I don't know. They say he's healthy. He said he's healthy. But again, since Mr. Raymond is not here this evening, I have some more prepared notes, because all know
I love these, by the way. I read through them. They're fantastic.
We all know Ray has defected from the Giants, and we could probably safely say He's putting on that Bengal white tiger jersey of Joey Shiesty, and that's it. I think see you Cincinnati. Ray Tremor is officially punched in his fan card. Now, in a prepared statement, Mr. Ray Tremor does state, do not let Cincy scare you again. Lack of preseason, lack of chemistry after the injury, and his boy, Joey B, will bounce back with T and Chase and the running back core. Give it one more week.
Well, T's out.
All right, well, so he's only working with a half-ass Chase on this one right now. He said, give it one more week. Don't be surprised. Even after this week, they still look bad. Historically,
They're getting stomped by the Chiefs.
Burrow.
They're not winning against the Chiefs.
Wait up until week 3. So, with that being said, I trust what Ray is saying. He is a big fan of the Bengals, huge supporter. So, I also would like to say that the Chiefs are probably going to stomp out the Bengals this week, but Joey Shiesty, these frosted tips, look out for him later in the season.
Total letdown, I think. I mean, everyone and their mother, including me, had them in the eliminator pool. What a disaster that was. He didn't look good. Most of the team didn't look good. I guess their defense looked decent. Okay. I mean, they should have played probably a little better. I mean, they versed the Patriots. Unimpressed with Zach Taylor's, play calling on Sunday. The only one that I thought that was worth a damn was Zach Moss. And that was it to me. Everybody else I was not impressed with whatsoever. And they won with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, you should not lose that game, Joe Burrow. So hopefully next week this upcoming week, you could come out and, not saying you have to win, still early in the season, but at least make it a game. Show that you guys are competitive, because that was not competitive football.
All right. Moving on to Steelers Falcons. This is my formal apology. I should have picked the Steelers. I wanted to pick the Steelers for our Steelers listeners because we have a couple. I should have picked the Steelers, but I thought Falcons home opener, Kirk Cousins, new coaching staff, Bijan going to get let loose. All the recipe was there to have a really solid home opener. And the Falcons look rusty. I think they need more time to really gel. Bijan was fed the rock for sure. But you know what? That was a Mike Tomlin classic coaching masterclass against a rookie head coach. Used his defense, used Justin Fields, who played okay enough to win them the game. They didn't score a single offensive touchdown. Their kickers scored all 18 points. But very, very defensive battle, very classic Steelers-like. They made the Falcons play their own Steeler football, and when the Steelers make you play their kind of football, you're going to lose. So my apology to the Steel City, to Steeler Nation. Should have picked you. Did not. I will not make that same mistake again. I'll tell you that right now. But I think the Falcons will be okay. It's just the first four weeks of the NFL season, it's always chaos because a lot of these guys don't play during preseason. So I don't know. Impressive win for the Steelers. Very proud of the Steelers. They're coached so well. They're a well-oiled machine. TJ Watt's a freak. Big time contributor on the defense side of the ball. But Steelers, baby.
Breaking news, Jazz Chisholm has walked it off for the Yankees tonight.
I don't care.
Yup.
But yeah, to mirror exactly what you were saying, Zach, I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, Mike Tomlin definitely outcoached Raheem Morris. The guy just coaches winning football, man. You just get the feeling like if he could win every game, 7-3, it wouldn't matter to him as long as he won the game. So, it's a typical Mike Tomlin game, Mike Tomlin fashion, piecing it together with what he has. And what he has is the best defensive player in football in TJ Watt. And I'll continue to say that. I get there are so many other great pass rushers in the league, but to me, the best player in the league on that side of the ball is TJ Watt.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that a Mike Tomlin led team. I'll offer an apology as well. Kirk Cousins is not ready yet. He looked uncomfortable in the pocket, couldn't really move around, wasn't planting. So we'll see. We'll see. But that might be that conversation of Michael Penix Jr. might get heated up real quick if Kirk is not looking 100%. Let's not forget, Falcons spent a first round pick on a young rookie. So
Well, you
real
might be
good.
right there, Pete, because if that's the case, they pivot to Michael Penix. The Falcons can call up the Giants about a quarterback and say, I have one. I got one right here. You want Kirk? Right there. I know you got something going on there, little quarterback issue.
It couldn't be any worse.
It couldn't be
tell you
worse.
I'll tell you what, if the Giants traded for virtually any quarterback who was in the top 2 in the depth chart on any team right now, it might be an upgrade over what they have.
Yeah.
That's how bad it's gotten for them.
Yep. But overall, I thought that was a total sloppy game. I didn't get to watch too much of it because the red zone was bouncing all the games around. But I do agree with you. I think that TJ Watt, obvious, is one of the best players in this league. I think there's a couple that are on his level. Just the way that Fred Warner played the other night, I can't say he's not on that type of level either. But I was a little
but Fred Warner. Hold on a second though, because Fred Warner would never win Defensive Player of the Year. As good a player as Fred Warner is, he's never going to win that award.
No, he probably not. Bosa would win it before Fred Warner.
Exactly.
But I do think, I guess, in a leader aspect of calling the plays, I guess I don't know. Fred Warner is so they run their defense through him, but agreeing that TJ Watt literally won them that game this past week. I mean,
that's what he's been doing, is winning them games.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Imagine 6-7 years ago, him coming out of the draft and someone telling you, oh, he's going to be even better than his brother. You'd slap him in the face.
And that's what he's been. He is on pace right now to have a better career than his brother. That's crazy to say. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, because JJ Watt's a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the best pass rushers of my era of football.
Yeah, and his brother is better than him.
Better than him. It's so unheard of.
It's crazy. He's that talented, and as long as he's healthy, the Steelers run through him. And
because you know what? As good as like JJ Watt was, like he wasn't a game. How do I word this? He wasn't like he didn't determine the score.
Record.
Like TJ Watt determines the score of the game.
TJ Watt absolutely destroys the game when he plays in it. Destroys it.
Yeah.
To the point where the Steelers have a chance to win every week.
Can't move the ball
because of it.
He's up in your face, dude. He was up in the. I want to know how many pressures he had on Sunday. It was unbelievable.
Dude, you want to talk about stats? I want to know what kind of overall like wins above replacement kind of stat that a player like him would have. Like if you just boil it down to one number, what does this one player do for your football team? I mean, his might be one of the highest in the league.
He probably wins them an additional 5 games out of the year.
It really is insane what he's able to do for that team. I mean, it's like their whole identity, everything that Tomlin is like, him as a player, and it's just it's really it's a beautiful thing. If you like hard-nosed football,
Fan,
if you like that style of football, which I do, it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
He had a sack, 2 quarterback hits, 2 additional pass rush wins on 23 pass rush snaps, and a fumble recovery. Just complete and total game record.
Yeah, we really need to pay attention, and I don't know why, because I feel like ESPNs of the world, they get it wrong, because they don't give this guy the attention that he deserves. They'll give every other guy the attention before him. It seems like it's just, maybe I'm wrong, but it's the kind of coverage that I've seen. I haven't seen him be featured a lot, is what I'm saying. He should be more the face of the league than he is.
Because he plays in Pittsburgh.
That's fair. I get that, but he's not like the sexy player. He's not even the sexy pass rusher. Like what's his name? Your boy there, John, for your boys. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like he's the sexy pick at pass rusher. You know what I mean? But
yeah, guys like Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, like those are the guys mostly talked about, but
exactly,
he's not fully talked about as deservingly as he should. I mean, I don't know if it was last year or the previous year, he had like 22 sacks. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he wins them. He literally is
all right. This one, he's played in 105 career games, 97 and a half sacks.
How many games?
That's crazy, man.
105.
That's crazy. I mean, it really is. I mean, that you're talking about the elite of the elite with numbers like that. I mean, guys don't put up those numbers, and that's consistency on a whole nother level too.
Yeah, agreed. He's a freak, total freak. Next, we had Texans versus Colts. This was kind of exciting. It really showed what the Colts maybe could be in a couple years. Anthony Richardson finally showed off that ludicrous arm talent that he has. I mean, that 60-yard touchdown pass is one of the craziest touchdown passes I've ever seen. I mean, that ball was 80 yards in the air, 60 total yards distance. It was like they dropped a bomb off a plane. It was insane. And he had a couple of really nice plays like that. He really has to clean up his accuracy. I know he hasn't played a whole lot of football since college, but his upside is there. You could see the upside with Anthony Richardson. Colts may have something there. On the other side, the Texans really kind of took care of business. Joe Mixon looked rejuvenated on the Texans. Stephon Diggs had a couple touchdown catches. CJ's got weapons, and the Texans are going to be really good. And they're going to be a hard team to beat for a long time. And Texans got the win in pretty impressive fashion, but Anthony Richardson with a really promising start to year 2.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it really concerns me, his style of play, though, man. I mean, his style of play is going to lend to him taking a lot of big hits. I really hope he makes it through the season. He does have a chance to be a very special player. All the ability in the world, obviously, Zach, as you were saying, with that one throw. I mean, just an incredible play. But yeah, for me, I really want to touch on the Texans, man. I mean, what a job by DeMeco Ryans. I mean, they came out. There was no sense that this team came out flat at all. I mean, they came out and were just after it from the first whistle. So good on them. And Pete's pick of CJ Stroud for MVP might be a good one.
I hope y'all put that $25 bet in on the official sports book of Dog Talk Sports, Caesars, $25. Hammer it down. still time to get that bet in, ladies and gentlemen, because CJ Stroud's got the weapons, went to Diggs early, often. Tank Dell, still got to get him involved. That offense, scary things. D'Amico Ryans has that team bought in, and they are playing like they know and expect to win now. Last year, they were our team where we said they don't know they should be losing these games. Now they know that they belong and they should be winning. On the flip side, Anthony Richardson, he is a dog. He does play violently. He needs to learn how to slide a little bit, clean that up, stay healthy. And he could have had an even massive game if he tweaks his accuracy just a little bit and he hits Adonai Mitchell on 2 fucking home run balls that he missed him on. This game could have been different if he connects on those. Love the potential, dynamic offense, and I think that's a divisional matchup, so that could have gone either way. We'll see when they meet later on in the season, but yeah, Texans, they look good.
Yeah, that was an awesome matchup. Anthony Richardson, first game back since last year's injury. He looked great. Their offense looked really good. He impressed me. I thought that the Texans were going to play their defense was going to handle him a little bit better, but Richardson proved me wrong. Their offense looks very dynamic. They're a little rust with some plays, but that's everyone week 1. So I give them kudos. It's not a diss on them for losing that game. Like you said, it's a divisional game. CJ Stroud, man, just you can ask anyone. I take it to the grave with me, man. I said to everybody, I said, listen, give this one kid a shot with Ohio State quarterbacks. I know there's a stigma, but please, like this one kid, I love the way he throws the ball, dude. I said it over and over and over up until the draft. I was saying, I was like, dude, at the time, I was like, I'll trade Dak right now in a first for that kid, because you're just sitting back. You're grabbing a 23-year-old kid. I mean, he's just unbelievable. He never fails to amaze me. I mean, the receivers played awesome. The whole offense played awesome. D'Amico Ryans was awesome. Just when I thought that Nico Collins would have been, targets taken away from him, nope. 6 receptions, over 100 yards. Just, they're going to be a tough out this year, really. As long as they stay healthy, they're going to be a real tough out.
All right. Moving on, we had Cardinals Bills. It was looking real iffy for the Bills there for a little bit. The Cardinals were running rampant in Buffalo for that first half. And then Josh Allen reminded everyone who he is. And he is, as Dan has said in the past, the Bills. Josh Allen is the Bills. He is their offense. He is their defense. Because if he scores enough points, their defense doesn't have to do too much. He is the epitome of most valuable player. I think he might win it this year because of how much they're asking him to do. If he puts together a year where he has 45 total touchdowns between rushing and passing, and they squeak it as a wild card, I think he should win the award. But he is that good. He is that special. Right now, he's the only quarterback not as good as Mahomes, but it's Mahomes and then Allen right now. It used to be Burrow. I take all that back. Allen's just too special.
I don't take it back. You know what Burrow's problem is Burrow can't stay healthy. I mean, how many things is it now every year with this guy? I mean, could he ever stay healthy? Because if he could, then he is the second best player.
That's why I say that. He hasn't been healthy since he's been in the league. So that's why right now, Allen to me is just so special. He's top 3 no matter what. And he's the Bills. And the Cardinals, they need to get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. I mean, I know I know he played 88% of the snaps and ran about 56 routes out of those snaps. You got to throw the ball to him more, man. And when Kyler Murray said today, well, it's not my job to give him the ball. I mean, you must be the stupidest dude I've ever seen.
That's such a
Like,
terrible answer.
such a horrible answer. Like, you want to know why? You want to know what he wanted to say, but he couldn't say? He couldn't fucking see him over his offensive lineman because he's too fucking short. Okay. That's what it really is. He couldn't see him over his offensive lineman for the walk-off 39-yard touchdown that would have handed me the fantasy victory. But nevertheless, terrible answer from Kyler. Once again, showing to me his attitude just sucks. His attitude is just the character concerns for Kyler remain for me. So it is what it is. Josh Allen took advantage and took over, and they won. Go Bills.
Yeah, I think that you know, as good as Kyler could play, very athletic player, I just think that his attitude will get him in the way from leading a team to a deep playoff run, or I don't think he'll ever, get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. I think at most he's a divisional round type player. I just think that he's too cocky, his ego is too high. Sometimes could just be this sore loser.
Should have went to baseball.
Yeah, should have went to. I don't know, because you know what? He got a nice payday here. The A's don't pay shit.
Yeah,
So,
but at least he had a chance to be a good teammate in baseball because he was a pitcher, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't he a pitcher?
Outfielder.
Oh, he was an outfielder.
He was
Oh, okay.
really
Well,
good.
then
He
never
got
mind.
first-
Never mind. He may have blamed the guy hitting in front of him for his own struggles then.
I blame his Call of Duty thumbs.
Yeah,
for,
probably that.
The beta was out for the new Call of Duty this weekend, so maybe that's why he was so shitty.
So he was up all night playing Call of Duty, and studying where Marvin fucking Harrison Jr. was gonna be. Shout out though, I did get the 1-point win over Zach. So Kyler, thank you, sir.
You really hate to see it.
I loved
Kyler's
it.
a bum.
Josh Allen though, dog.
Josh Allen, not much to say there.
I mean, the window for their Super Bowl hopes is closed, but man, maybe he could contend with my boy CJ for an MVP this year, because it's him and nothing else.
Are we sure? I can never say
No.
that. I think that as long as Josh Allen is the quarterback for that team, it just doesn't matter. I think he will absolutely contend year in and year out for the trophy, man.
I don't think they have enough right now to contend. I agree with Zach that the very definition of that award, most valuable player, has to go to him over everybody else. It has to, because of, again, what Zach said and what we've all been saying. They ask him to do more than any other quarterback, and he does it every week. And he got hurt running, doing these crazy twirly things into the end zone, gets hurt, still plays the game. Does anybody question whether he's going to play this week? I don't question it. I expect to see Josh Allen out there. Is Joe Burrow going to play this week? We don't know.
Burrow's gonna play.
Okay, I hope so.
I hope so
Because
too. But
the nation deserves Joe Burrow at a top form, a healthy Joe Burrow with all of his weapons against the Chiefs.
Yeah, my confidence is on the same level as Dan's. You got more confidence than us, Pete. I don't know. He just can't stay healthy.
No, his body's been very fragile since being.
Listen, I've been one of the bigger supporters of Joe Burrow. I've said all along he's the best pocket passer in the league, because he is. But if you're not healthy, what is it? It doesn't matter. None of it matters. You're not healthy. This team looked completely flat to start the year. All the shit with the holdouts with Chase and with Higgins and all these guys, that stuff is just like absolutely take the sales right out. Like, all the wind out of your sails. And man, they better look good against the Chiefs this week. They better look good.
Yeah. Agreed. Next, we had the Titans versus the Bears. Oh boy, this was an interesting game. The number one overall pick, Caleb Williams' regular season debut, was quite rough. Did not look good at all. I don't know if it was first game jitters. I don't know if the moment was very large. I don't know if it's because he has nails painted saying the Bears. But if it wasn't for Will Levis just vomiting on himself in the second half of the game, the Bears don't win this game. The Titans absolutely should have easily won this game, but the Bears defense surprisingly stepped up in a big way, and they scored all the points, and the Bears escaped with a victory. But I mean, Will Levis left week one with the meme of the year so far, just fucking, with his knees on the ground going, oh my God, what did I just do? Because I'm a dumbass. And I don't know. I've never liked Will Levis. Not exactly starting off the year great to try to change my mind. But Caleb Williams, though, that's a rough debut. We'll see what happens going forward, but Bears got the win at home with the strong defense.
It's a telling statement when your coach says to the media after the game that we would have been better off punting on 1st and 10 on every possession, and we may have had a chance to win the game. I mean, that's an eye-opening thing for a head coach to say at a press conference.
An eye-opening thing for a rookie head coach to say after week one.
Yeah.
Never, and I mean never, trust a quarterback that puts fucking mayonnaise in their coffee.
You know what? You might be right. You might be right.
Get the fuck out of here. You
might be right.
Trust a fucking
loser.
I swear.
No, that's really weird.
That's really weird. Fucking commercial that I saw, I told you guys about with him fucking spread fucking starfish on the fucking mayo bottles. Fuck him.
Yup, dude. I'm sick of these. I hate to go on a quick rant. I'm sick of these fucking people with their obsession with mayo. This guy with his obsession with mayo in his coffee, and my one coworker with putting fucking mayo in his hair because he thinks it hydrates his hair. Get the fuck out of here, you weirdo. I'm so sick of it. Just what? I'm not a fan. I don't care. Not that I'm a believer or non-believer in Will Levis, but I'm not a fan. Fuck mayo.
And as much as I'm not a fan of Will Levis, I'm not a.
Whoa. Take it easy. Not fuck mayo. No, mayo is not the problem.
Mayo is still good. Mayo is still good.
Maybe a little light mayo across the bread with a little oil and vinegar.
The perfect time. The thoughts and opinions expressed on this program by those on this program speaking do not necessarily reflect the views of the overall podcast.
My emotions got the best of me. I apologize to Mayo.
All right, there you go. Hellman's only too. Not if you get that fucking Miracle Whip shit, get out of here. But
I agree.
But before I have another prepared statement from Mr. Ray Tremor. And I quote, Caleb will get exposed and exposed fast. He said, CJ is way better, which we all know. And he threw in Bo Nix looks more NFL ready than Caleb.
He does.
He does not believe in the Caleb hype.
I don't either. I'm right there with him. I'm right there with him. Call me a hater, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. This kid hasn't shown the ability to be, what he was picked to be and where he was picked to be. Like, it's none of it made any sense to me from the jump. I understand that there's talent there, but there's something weird going on upstairs. I can't pinpoint it, but I just have a problem having confidence in him up here to last the whole season. And that's what it is for me.
I'm gonna slow burn it, but yeah, I don't think he has the maturity level.
That's what I mean. I don't want to be offensive, but yeah, what you're saying is correct.
Do I need to say the disclaimer again?
Yeah.
He wants to say something that
I
we
hate
just
to
can't
say it, but he's a little immature. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's a little immature.
Yes.
I really want to say it.
No, you don't.
I'm not going to, but we're going to be nice.
Opinions expressed on this program by those individuals are not necessarily reflecting the views of the overall podcast.
This fucking podcast is brought to you by motherfucking Godzilla, baby. Next.
This podcast is brought to you by your future national champion Texas Longhorns.
That's pretty good.
And this podcast is brought to you by the official NFL salute to service jersey right here, Barack Bowers. Thank you to our friends at DHgate for getting this baby to me in 3 weeks or less right there.
Nice.
Gotta
nice.
love-
I like it. I like it.
Gotta
3
love
weeks or less.
DHgate.
You can find buyers that get it to you in a week and a half.
Next, we had the Battle of Florida. We had Jaguars versus Dolphins. Dolphins were in the news before the game. Tyreek Hill detained by local PD. The situation.
Can I speak? I'm sorry. Can I chime in? Because I have to take something back. I put in our group chat for fantasy football that this was Scotty Scheffler 2.0 very prematurely. Because then I watched the video. Okay, he's just an asshole. Is what it comes down to. He's another one of these guys who can't control himself off the field. And
yeah,
and just the diva mentality. I could do no wrong. Oh, don't worry, and then very calm about it afterwards, like it's no big deal that he was a complete piece of shit. And he's being called out by other pro athletes for how he handled himself. There was an NBA player, I don't remember his name right off the bat. I saw he posted that Tyreek Hill is the example of what not to do when you get pulled over by police, and sets a horrible example, especially for black men.
Yeah, it was a little rough. That video, I mean, I wasn't really shocked. I mean, we all know Tyreek Hill's an asshole. He has a history of domestic violence, which for some reason he's not ever suspended for. And it's because he's Tyreek Hill that he's not suspended for it. So his whole quote of, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill at this, traffic stop? It's like, well, what if you weren't Tyreek Hill in general? You would have been in jail already for beating the shit out of one of your former girlfriends.
Exactly.
He has 7 kids with 8 different women. And one of them, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed and decided to just beat the fucking shit out of her. But, he doesn't.
Different women.
Yeah. Poster child. And the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs made the move they did, by the way.
It was on their end.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. And I normally wouldn't do this, but it escalated just to something beyond what
it was not necessary. The whole thing.
I just think that no one was in the right in that whole situation.
No,
nobody was in the right, but I'm just looking at how he conducted himself. I am taking everything else out of the equation. I'm looking at how he conducted himself, and he was an asshole.
Well, he could have prevented it by just cooperating with his window.
That's what I mean. He was an asshole, and he needs to be exposed.
For this, I want to shout out his teammates. They pulled over, they checked on him, and you know what? That's a teammate right there. Jonnu Smith
Agreed.
Hanging around, and the other guy that they put in fucking cuffs for standing.
Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
They put him in cuffs because he's a huge human being.
Yeah, they
He said
saw-
you are under arrest.
They saw this.
You're afraid of him.
Yeah, they saw this building walking towards him, going, "Hey, officer, what's going on?"
No, I don't know why they did. I don't want to say that. All I'm going to say is, again, yes, I agree with you, Pete. You know, the teammates trying to get their back of their team. You know, that's fine. I get that. However, the whole thing should have been avoided, and it's just proof that he doesn't care about what kind of teammate he is.
Yeah, he's on another level of an AB or a Le'Veon Bell type maturity. It's just a very immature, carefree. I have so much money. I'm in a video game. They're just playing Monopoly, GTA, whatever they want to do. They're in a simulation. They don't like. There's no responsibility. And if he wasn't half the player he was with his speed, he would have been kicked out of the league years ago.
It's a great point. It's a really good point. So to get to the analysis of the game, the Jaguars got the jump early in the first half. The Dolphins kind of rallied, regrouped with that classic Tua Tyreek connection on an 80-yard touchdown pass. And then Tyreek with the touchdown celebration of putting his hands behind his back because, duh, of course he was going to do that. But the Dolphins eked out a win. The Jaguars really just blew one. They totally just blew one. Once again, proving to me that Trevor Lawrence ain't anything special either. Brian Thomas Jr. probably going to be a nice player. He had a really nice game. He looks like a solid player for them, but again, it just wasn't enough. I think the Jaguars were outcoached in the second half and just flat out outplayed. So Miami got the win, and
Tyreek Hill arrested at 10, touchdown at 2.
oh boy.
Next game.
Yeah, next game. Broncos Seahawks, another rookie quarterback's debut. Bo Nix on the road in Seattle. Seahawks got the dub. Geno Smith used his legs a little bit in this game to score a touchdown. DK Metcalf, a couple other weapons were available and healthy for them. First game of the post Pete Carroll era. But the big story was Bo Nix. Even though he looked better than Caleb, he didn't look ready either. And the hype of this rookie class so far is not very, very good. And Bo Nix, I'm sure maybe, again, first game, he's in a rough environment. Playing in Seattle is tough, no matter for anybody. But Bo Nix definitely needs some more time. And the Broncos, there's just not a whole lot of talent on offense for the Broncos. They're still, in my opinion, very much not necessarily a rebuilding team because there's a decent amount of talent there. It's very much a retooling team under Sean Payton. But Bo Nix needs to get his act together quick because Sean Payton is an impatient coach. So we shall see what happens going forward.
Broncos suck. How about that?
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah. In hindsight, it wasn't a good pick by me. They were, on the road, especially to start the year in a hostile environment. But, overall, I don't think that he looked bad. He had too many negative plays, which rookie quarterbacks have. It was the first game of the year. I think it's going to take a while before you see, and I think Sean Payton's going to have patience with the guy. I mean, they drafted him in the first round. So it's going to take him a while to lessen those negative plays.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close score. I didn't get to watch too much of it because the red zone, like I said, I mostly watched the red zone Sunday. It just bounced around from game to game. But Seahawks got the win. I knew that was going to be a tough atmosphere for Denver to just go right into Seattle and win that game. Yeah, that's it. I think that Bo Nix and Sean Payton have to gel together. It's going to take a couple of weeks for them to get acclimated to really getting a chemistry together. But he, I think he's good. I think that he'll eventually kick it into a gear with them. So.
All right. Next, we had Raiders Chargers. I will let Pete have the lead for his team of the Raiders, who had a very disappointing debut against the Jim Harbaugh's Chargers. So I'm gonna let him kind of do his thing here.
Oh. So last week I said that I would come on here with my AOC jersey on if Gardner Minshew was the problem and we didn't win because of him. I am sitting here with my Brock Bowers jersey because we did not get the win, but I'm not going to put the blame all the way on Gardner Minshew. I am going to put the blame on our head coach, Antonio Pierce. Now, motivator, yes. Does he know how to manage a football game? Not yet. I'm holding out hope that that may change. He made a few calls that I don't agree with, like punting on 4th and 1 when we're inside the 40 with 7 minutes to go, trailing by, I think it was 2 scores. You got to go for it there. Just the offense couldn't get into a rhythm, and I don't know whether it was play calling or not. Hard to tell. You knew a Harbaugh team like that was going to run the ball. J.K. Dobbins looked like he was C.J. Johnson 2K back in the day, just burning through the Raiders. Max Crosby was doing Max Crosby things, getting a sack early. The wheels didn't really fall off until the end there. It's gonna be a long season, I feel like.
It's
do.
probably going to be that.
What a delivery of a line.
Oh my God, that killed me.
I do stand by my word. AOC is going to be the quarterback by week 4 because by then, week 4.
Who did you say?
AOC. Aiden O'Connell.
Oh.
The other mustache on the Raiders.
Oh man, listen, I said it the other day. I said it the other day. I was like, I don't know, I don't understand why Tannehill is jobless because he could start over a handful of quarterbacks right now.
I don't know if he's better than Gardner Minshew, though. I really don't. And he turns the ball over a lot too.
That's a division. We'll see how that goes from here on out.
You know who's better than Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell? Tom Brady. That's who. Dust the old man off and fucking get him in here.
Well, he might get tired of people talking shit about his broadcasting, so maybe you will get that granted.
He's too busy being a worse broadcaster than Greg Olsen.
I mean, but
whoa,
you know what?
No, I will not tolerate any Greg Olsen slander.
That was not Greg Olsen slander.
No, that was not Greg Olsen slander.
Because he should be there. Because I love Greg Olsen and always did a great job. And the fact that they just put Tom Brady in there to sound like a fucking 7th grader who's watching his first football game. I mean,
he sounds like an adolescent.
Yeah, it was atrocious. Greg Olsen should fucking file a lawsuit.
I missed it. What game did he call?
The Cowboys-Browns.
Well, Greg Olsen comes out of that whole deal looking like a huge winner right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the networks have been in meetings all week talking about how they messed up and how do we get Greg Olsen in here.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean it was very rough to see the Raiders like that. I fully believed that they would go in there and win, kind of punched the Chargers in the mouth a little bit, and the opposite kind of happened. You know, Jim Harbaugh is still a really good football coach, and Joe Alt is the real deal. That dude,
Oh yeah,
that dude is a
I,
pro.
and I think you said it. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a really good football coach, and yeah, you look at the all 22 and some of those highlights of that matchup against Mad Max. I mean, Joe Alt, he held his own, man. He showed why that was the right pick for them there, and man, if he could stay healthy for 10 years, he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame. That's how good he is. So great pick. Looks like a good team. A lot of juice. J.K. Dobbins looking rejuvenated. They've got a stable of running backs there. They've got a quarterback who has ability and who has the wherewithal and the talent to win them games.
Dobbins,
So,
and over 100
look,
rushing yards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look out for the Chargers, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
and hey, by the way, the Chargers still have some guys on defense here and there. I mean, they've got a couple of guys who could get after the passer too.
Also had a sack.
So the Chargers are a sleeper. You know, they're more of a sleeper than I think the most of the nation thought going into the
I
season.
think everyone just wrote them off because of the loss of weapons, but they
still have plenty of them.
They drafted some guys, so let's see what they could do with. I don't think that Herbert is some bum as to what some people believe that he is. You know,
No,
Herbert.
and that's the thing. Yeah, he's not a bum.
That's a whole stigma of people holding upon him. Like, let's not forget what his history is. He's
outside of a Kyle Shanahan offense. This has got to be one of the most friendly offenses for a quarterback. I mean, they're going to lean on the run game enough to where Herbert's going to be able to pick and choose his spots.
He also had like the worst coach ever.
Oh yeah, no, they are making one of the biggest jumps in head coach that a team has seen in years. To go from what they had to what they have now is night and day. Night and day. It's reminiscent of the jump that the Jets just made at quarterback.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So rough one for sure. We'll see what the Raiders can do next week. Moving on to Cowboys Browns. Cowboys walked into Cleveland, but before they walked into Cleveland, Dak Prescott signed the biggest contract in NFL history, pretty much right before kickoff, ensuring that he's a Cowboy at least for the next 4 years.
Let's talk about that. Let's
Yeah,
talk about that.
He's the Cowboy for life. That deal makes him a Cowboy for life now.
Yeah. Hey, Pete. Last week you were talking about Dak Prescott auditioning for the Raiders. Back off, my man. That's my man. Go find yourself a new man because he will never be yours. Ever, ever. Get fantasy out of your skull and go find yourself. You go find yourself a Colin Kaepernick or whatever you want to find out. You go back to the drawing board.
I will not take that on this podcast.
Wow, that was rude.
That's rude.
Slander to the Raiders right now. Get that out of
I will even say, my dad's
I wish you the best with Dak. I do.
My dad's a big Raider fan. I always root for the Raiders. If I'm not watching the Cowboys, I hope that they get their quarterback soon. But that's my man. Yeah, man, just well-deserved, I think, on his end, Dak, of getting the contract. I understand that he hasn't had too much playoff success, only 2 wins in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I think that it's always a team effort. I think with his talent, I am a believer that he should have won the MVP last year. I don't think that you just get rid of a guy like that. I think that you keep trying and trying and trying and knocking on the door. It's not that easy to just replace a guy like that. I think 9 times out of 10,
right,
if you replace him, you're going to get worse at the position. It's not going to be easy.
Agree.
You know,
Great
they
point.
They played an awesome game. I mean, Dak didn't have to do much. Their defense was outstanding. I mean, you know, Micah had a sack. Eric Kendricks had 2 sacks and a pick. DeMarcus Lawrence 2 sacks. DeMarvion Overshown 11 tackles and a sack. I mean, yep, that's right. Longhorn right there. He covered 14 yards of angle to sack Watson in 2.5 seconds. That is insane speed, if any of you know. I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, Diggs with a pick. And even Kalen Carson, the rookie, I mean, just clamping down Amari Cooper for 2 receptions for 16 yards. Cleveland's offense couldn't really get going too much. I don't know if it's just that Watson is not the same. He doesn't really look the same.
Watson sucks.
Watson isn't the same. I'm starting to believe, but their defense played okay, but Dallas was too much for them to handle.
Starting to believe. Watson hasn't been the same since he got busted touching assholes in a massage parlor. And
Yeah.
then the fact that more allegations are coming out now,
Yeah.
like even more than he already settled, that piece of shit does not belong in the NFL. And the Cleveland Browns got fleeced by Deshaun Watson. They look like shit.
Oh,
They
yeah.
should have kept Baker.
Oh, yeah. No. At this point, the whole Watson thing, I mean, I think the league is going to get tired real quick. Roger Goodell and the rest of the owners and everybody, they're going to get tired real quick. I'm telling you right now. So,
kept Baker.
you're looking at a potential black ball situation there.
Dude, Baker succeeding in Tampa makes me so happy.
It's great. It really is. It's great. It's great to think about, you know, he was such a great pro for them, and they turned their back on him for what they thought was a shiny new object, but yet they were dumb enough to still believe that after all the crap that came out about him. It was so poorly thought out by just a historically poor organization.
Gotta love the Haslams, baby.
Yep.
They've been bad forever. So
Yep.
Sucks to suck.
And they gave this guy the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history.
The only
guaranteed contract. Yes.
That guy right there did to what fully guaranteed contracts to what our fucking boy from the Steelers did for running backs when he fucking sat out.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. Ruined running back contracts, and guess what? Deshaun Watson put a bullet in fully guaranteed contracts.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's that contract is the reason why owners are talking about having a separate salary cap for the next CBA negotiation. They're talking about having a salary cap just for quarterbacks, and then having one for the rest of the team. That's how big of an impact that contract made in the NFL. So we haven't heard the last of it, I promise.
Isn't Kirk another dude that also got guaranteed? I thought he was the first guy to get a guaranteed contract with the Vikings.
Not
fully guaranteed.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson, every penny gets paid to that man. Every penny.
Is Rodgers' current Jets contract fully guaranteed?
It might be now, actually. I didn't think about that. They may have made it a fully guaranteed contract.
That's it.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, I'm almost positive the $100 million like extension that he signed with the Packers was fully guaranteed. So I think
the extension he signed with the Packers.
Yeah, his the 3-year extension he signed with the Packers 2 years ago was fully guaranteed.
Okay, you
I'm
might be right.
I'm
I
almost
I
positive.
think that what the Jets did was restructure also to get him more guaranteed money.
I thought they restructured it to push his guaranteed money into next season to build the
They
team.
they also gave him more guaranteed money up front and didn't count against the cap.
Okay.
But yes, it pushed what it did was it pushed the cap hits down years, and it gave him more guaranteed money at at signing.
Yeah, so they did revise it. They revised it to make it 112 million for 3 years, 75 million fully guaranteed no matter what, $35 million bonus in 2023, and his 2023 and 2024 base salaries are fully guaranteed. So his
The base salary, right,
yes.
right.
So
But
his
the entire
very
contract is not guaranteed.
no, but it's very close to
It's
the whole.
it's not it's still not the Deshaun Watson contract though.
No, not at all. We were just it was a really good point actually by John to bring up the examples because I know Kirk's I think Kirk's final extension with the Vikings was almost like fully guaranteed too.
That's what I thought.
So
It was mostly guaranteed.
it was like 90%. Yeah, it definitely was. So with that being said, we're talking about the Browns. Let's talk about the former Browns quarterback. Commanders in Tampa Bay playing the Bucks. Jaden Daniels' debut. He looked a little rough too in the first half. Looked a lot better in the second half. Used his legs a lot. He rushed the ball like 20. He had like 16 rushing attempts. And Dan Quinn was not happy about that. He said, we do not want our quarterback to rush the ball 16 times. We want our quarterback to throw the ball. So Dan Quinn wasn't exactly happy with Jaden Daniels' first game. But man, is he fun for fantasy? That's for sure. With all those rushing yards on top of everything. But Baker and the Bucks were surgical. I mean, Baker had 4 touchdowns. Should be off. I don't know if he won Player of the Week for the NFC on offense, but he should have. 330 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Mike Evans is timeless. Still does not look over the hill yet at all. Bucks offense is still good. They're still going to win some games. They're still going to be competitive, and Baker Mayfield is still pretty solid. Commanders are still very much a rebuilding team with a new regime. So
yeah, Todd Bowles is really lucky that he has guys that can bail him out because I still don't think that he's a great coach. And I'm not a believer in that defense. That team is going to go as far as Baker Mayfield will take them.
I mean, they picked right back up from where they left off last year. Baker just slinging the rock. So he looks comfortable down in Florida. Jaden Daniels looked serviceable as a rookie making his debut. Ran the ball a lot.
He was the best looking rookie of week 1.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, everything translated to the field.
88 rushing yards for him. He had a solid day running the ball,
Yeah.
I kind of like what Dan Quinn had to say after the game about it because he just wants to limit it. He doesn't want to take it away, but 16 times is too much for a quarterback to run in one game, in an NFL game. It is. You don't want your quarterback running that many. Even, like in 2022, the Daniel Jones season, I mean, he didn't run the ball more than 10 times a game.
No.
So you don't want to do that.
So solid performance. Sunday Night Football was Rams-Lions. Matt Stafford went back to Detroit for a second time, and that game was phenomenal. So I mean, the Rams are going to be competitive as long as Sean McVay is the coach, I feel like. And you know what? Matt Stafford still got a little bit left in the tank. He's got a gray beard now. It's kind of cool to see a little bit, but he's got some juice left, man. He could still play for a little bit.
Yeah, the no look passes.
Yeah, the Rams are The thing with the Rams right now is they're really hurt. They have the most players on the injury list of any team in the NFL. Puka Nacua is going to miss a long time. He's going to be out like 6-7 weeks with his knee injury. Cooper Kupp is just going to feast now. He looks healthy. He had 15 catches on 23 targets. It was just lunacy. And it wasn't enough. The Lions are, in my opinion, the second best team in the NFC, and they showed it. They're a complete team. Jared Goff didn't really look so great. It was just, maybe first game jitters too, maybe for him, but that combination of Montgomery and Gibbs is crazy. Montgomery, such a solid running back. Laporta, I'm not worried about Laporta. He just needs to get going too. Jamison Williams was the best offensive weapon for the Lions. Finally, took 2 years, but he finally looks like the player.
He was hurt. This is healthy year, and now they're using him as a number 2. Look out!
That's speed.
Yeah,
Sick
good,
speed.
man. The Lions are a special team.
The greatest show on turf. Look out!
Dan Campbell, as Pete loves to say, has got those boys gassed.
Gassed up.
Yeah, I agree. The Lions are my second favorite. They'll probably be in San Francisco for the NFC Championship game. That'd be my pick right now.
Send them to the Super Bowl right now. My pick. I told you last week. I'm locking it in this week.
I could see it.
Could be.
I could see it.
I really hope Cooper Kupp can stay healthy this year, because
me too. He's on my fantasy team.
Great for football in general to have him on the field. It's just a question if he can stay healthy, because it's a guarantee every week. He's the guy over there, 100+ yards every week.
Did he really have 23 targets?
It was in the 20s.
Yep. That's insane.
22 or 23 targets, I believe. Yeah.
That's insane.
Matt Stafford definitely has a little crush on him.
Well, he's that good, so I get it.
He is. That
brings us to the final game of week 1. Monday Night Football, Jets 49ers. Aaron Rodgers' re-debut with the Jets. Came out of it unscathed. That's a big positive, but not too much else that we're very positive about the Jets' first game against the 49ers. I will let Dan have the floor as the resident Jet fan, and everyone else will chime in afterwards.
Yeah, I'll start with the very small positive, and I guess it's not a small positive when you're talking about the Jets and quarterback play. It's actually a pretty significant positive, and that's we finally saw competent play at the position, for the first time in years. And it was really cool to see that. Other than that, okay, what we have here is a situation where I'm not sure that it's either on Robert Saleh or Jeff Ulbrich. I don't know who, you could put it on all of them. You really could. The entire coaching staff. The fact that they could come out and look as flat as they did when we've seen this defense in years past stay in games against teams like the Chiefs all the way up into the end with guys like Zach Wilson at quarterback. Okay. It's really disheartening. It's really disheartening to see a performance like that on defense. I also want to give credit to the 49ers for being a well-oiled machine, for being one of the better coach teams in the league. It's very clear. When Trent Williams is on the field for the 49ers, it's a completely different, overpowering offense. When he's not on the field for them, it makes a huge difference. We've seen that. We've seen the difference it makes. They're just not the same offense. There was a chance going in that he was going to miss the game due to a contract thing that got solved. There was a chance that Ayuk was going to miss it due to a contract thing that got solved. The Jets seem to be the only team that can't solve a contract situation so far with Hassan Reddick. Do I think that it would have made a big difference in the run game? No, but to say that Hassan Reddick wouldn't have made a difference against a team like that, you know, with a guy like Trent Williams and on the left side, it would be, I think, unwise, right? So they got rid of Franklin Myers, who was pretty stout in the run game. Them getting rid of the pass rusher from last year, I don't think that was a big deal. I think that's being a little overrated right now. The thing to look at is John Franklin Myers. How much are the Jets going to miss him as a run defender? And we're going to see it for the rest of this year. Either this defense is going to tighten up, and they're going to do it soon, and we're going to say it was opening game jitters, flying across the country against a really good team, a Super Bowl team, or this defense is just overrated and it's just not that good, and teams are going to be able to run on them. They will have success against the pass here and there if, you know, they could limit teams running on them. But when you let a team like the 49ers shred you like they did, then you're going to get exposed in the secondary too. And guys like DJ Reed, you know, they were had a few times in this game. So just a disheartening performance. I'm not ringing any alarm bells on the offense, although they didn't look great. I think it was also against a really good defense. So I have to give the 49ers a little bit of credit. I'm not gonna overreact to what I saw on the offensive side of the ball. Breece Hall didn't have the juice that I thought he would go into the game with. That was a little concerning. And you just wonder if Braylon Allen is going to see more touches next week now because of that, but they'll probably still ride Hall. I need to see this coaching staff get it together. The wins need to start coming now. Okay. Because now you're in Tennessee. Okay. There's no excuse for not winning this game. They better win that game by at least a touchdown. Okay. By at least a touchdown. There will be no excuse for anything else. And then the next couple of games after that aren't that hard. The Jets need to be 3-1 after this month. They need to be 3-1. This coaching staff needs to get it together, or Robert Saleh and all these other people are going to find themselves looking for new jobs next year. Okay. And as much as I hate to say it, because on paper, there's a lot of talent on the field, but Joe Douglas might be looking for a new job too. So these guys want to stay here, then they're going to start winning. But that effort that they put forth on defense in the running game, it looked a little weak to me. And you know, that's obviously not what we were thinking we were going to see going into the game. And I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed too. I watched the whole game with Nick here, the resident Jets fan in the Barba household. They had that really good offensive drive to score that first touchdown, and that was the best the Jets offense had looked in, like, you know, since Ryan Fitzpatrick's first year there. But both me and Nick were really concerned about how poorly the defense played. Nick was concerned with, he's like, why is Sauce Gardner not playing in the back end of the second quarter right now? He didn't understand that.
Well, that's been cleared up by Sauce himself.
Oh,
He
okay.
said he needed a breather.
Yeah, he got on one play where he got tanked on his shoulder.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't read anything.
Yeah.
I didn't read anything.
Yeah. No. Let me make something really clear to all these people who have something to say about Sauce Gardner. Okay, Sauce Gardner is a complete shutdown corner. Complete shutdown corner.
Ayuk down. There was
nowhere to go.
Yeah.
No, he's the best corner in football. I think he's the best corner in football. But you know, like
Ayuk for that game.
Yeah, he was covering Ayuk most of the time.
Yeah, Ayuk didn't do shit.
Yeah, Ayuk didn't really do too much at all. Dropped the touchdown pass, but you know, I just thought it was a tall task for the Jets anyway. That's why I had picked the 49ers to win anyway. I'm not worried about the offense. I think Rodgers is just trying to get into a rhythm. I mean, that's really the first time he's played football really in 610 days.
Well, you know what, Zach, and not to cut you off again, but to your point, in a rhythm, okay, after that touchdown that they put together on the third possession, the next 51 plays that were running the game, 47 of them were run by the 49ers. 47 of the next 51 plays were run by the 49ers. You got to be able to get off the field if you're the defense and get your quarterback the ball again.
Yeah.
I think the Jets, to me, they look, after that first score, they just looked flat. I felt like Rodgers is still trying to get into his rhythm in that offense. And like, you don't know what the offense is yet. It has no identity. So
No. The identity is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I completely disagree with you. And that's been brought up a couple of times. The identity of the offense is Aaron Rodgers, plain and simple. He can't get into a rhythm, Pete, if he's not on the field. Take a look at the time of possession. Take a look at the number of plays played. I mean, the guy needed to play more plays than that in the game.
That's true. And I mean, he didn't play preseason. He looks rusty is what I was getting at. And I think
I'm sorry. I disagree with that. I don't think he looked rusty. I thought he looked great.
I don't think he looked rusty either.
I thought he looked great.
The team as a whole, it was too big of an asking of a task to go into San Francisco. I said to Zach the other day, everyone usually during the regular season, when they go into San Francisco, get their ass handed to them. So I don't really have a full judgment upon this game of the Jets. I can't shit on them. I think that there were individual players that played well, like you said, Sauce Gardner. I mean, the pick that Rodgers threw wasn't even really his fault. It got bobbled.
No, it wasn't. It was bobbled.
And back to what I was saying earlier, I just think that one of the best players, I think he's the best anchor to a defense in this whole league, is Fred Warner. I mean, he controls the defense. Like, he can literally, he literally gets their defense off the field. He makes a play right then and there. He prevents you from getting a first down. So
no doubt. And to go back to Pete, to go back to what you're saying about in a rhythm. Okay, the first drive, 3rd and 5. Okay, Rodgers has Lazard, hits him square in the chest. Lazard drops the ball. They have to kick. That's not on Rodgers. And as much as I love Garrett Wilson, he had from where I am to all the way to New York City to get his second foot down. Okay, what the hell was that? Get your foot down before you get out of bounds. That's another first down. So to your point, getting in a rhythm. I mean, your players got to help you out too. This is still a young roster. Lazard, there's no excuse for him. Okay, he's only going to be good this year because of Aaron Rodgers. That's it. You take Aaron Rodgers away, and he's not a great player. So,
and I think you got Mike Williams too, who you give him until like week 5 or 6 to really get back,
ramp it up
from an ACL. I think that's going to be a whole nother dynamic to that offense that is going to open up the right side.
I hope.
Did he log any snaps?
He played
he had some snaps.
Yeah.
He had some snaps.
Yeah, because I was very confused to not see him even targeted.
Just decoy.
All right.
Yeah, he's just he's not ready yet. It's very clear. It's I guess you can't blame him for going if he could, just to give the 49ers something else to think about. But again, I'm not going to go crazy about the offense because I saw drops and I saw plays by good players like Breece Hall fumbling the ball. That's not going to happen a ton of times this year, I don't think. So, and no juice from him. I don't know what that was all about. It could just be this team they're playing against. And maybe, Pete, you're right. Maybe they just came out flat. Okay. Sometimes that happens. We've seen teams do that and then put it together the next week.
This is the week. This is the get right week, though. They're playing Mayo Boy.
It better be.
And I think that they're going to win by 2 tugs this week.
They should smash them 30-10. I mean, it should not be close.
Well, they're in Tennessee, so I'll give them,
Fuck Tennessee.
I don't give a shit. Tennessee's a
well, hold on a second. The line's 3.5. So
that's a terrible line.
it's they
Smack
might
the
just be
money
baiting people. They might be baiting people to take the Titans with the 3.5 at home, but be careful.
The Jets.
I think a touchdown's a lot. A touchdown's a lot in the NFL. It is.
Jets should win 31-14.
No, we should handle the game. Like at halftime, they should be going into the locker room thinking that if they just keep executing, the game's going to be fine. You know what I mean? Like it should go like that for them.
Yeah.
A
loss would be completely unacceptable.
No, it would be completely unacceptable, and that's when you're going to start hearing me really get fired up and yelling and screaming about people, especially the coach.
If they lose that game, Saleh should be fired immediately.
I'll tell you what, if they get off to a bad enough start, I mean,
this is the year. This is the year to win.
If they get off to a bad enough start, don't be surprised if they made a move like that to even just try to salvage the season. If through the first 2 months of the year they're looking less than 500, outside looking into the playoff,
you fire him.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
You try to bring in an intern, Mike.
I'll tell you what. I mean, listen. It's going to be tough, though, right? Because all they need to do is make the playoffs to have a shot. But you're just disappointed if you're a Jet fan. You can't look yourself in the mirror as a Jet fan and say to yourself that you weren't disappointed, because that's just a lie. You would have to be disappointed at what you saw.
Well, I hope for my own sake and your sake, Dan, that next week there's no yelling and there's no screaming on your part, and it's happy Dan, and Rodgers is 300 yards and 2 tutties.
Oh, I'll be yelling and screaming. No worries.
From your lips to God's ear. Yeah, if Rodgers does that, then I'll be yelling and screaming in a good way.
I'm just gonna be yelling it. Actually, I think next week might be the only week that I yell and scream, because I'm just probably not gonna watch another game.
But I just want to emphasize too, and I know we're talking about this game for a lot. When we're talking about Rodgers and we're talking about the Jets, we have to keep in mind, it's all relevant what the Jets have had at quarterback recently before him, right? And
yeah,
Troy Aikman said it during the podcast, Pete. I mean, he said worst quarterback play in the league over the last 3 years, not even close.
Even close.
So you're not asking Rodgers to be an MVP. You're asking him to give them a chance to win enough games this year. That's it. That's it. We don't need MVP Rodgers. If we get the Rodgers we saw on Monday night, I think we're going to be fine. I really do. I really do. I think we're going to be fine.
It was more, you're in San Francisco week 1. That's
fine.
Listen, at the point where I think for the Jets, they don't have to be a division winner. I just punch your ticket to the postseason, get in a slot 1 through 7. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
You can win 9 games. You go 9-8, but if you're that 7th seed, it does not matter. You have to play a playoff game against Aaron Rodgers. That's not easy.
It's a good point, but at the same time, and there will be plenty of people out there who would say this, and I would have to agree with them too. This is the type of year where you need to take advantage of what you have on paper, put it together, execute, win games, and get home playoff games, which Jet fans haven't seen a home playoff game in a long time, a very, very long time. You get home playoff games in that building with those fans, and that could be a difference maker. I'm telling you right now. And guys who have been to Jet games with me know how loud that place gets, even when they're shitty. So you could only imagine what it would be like in a divisional or a conference playoff game at home. And that's what they have a chance to do this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But just remember that Rodgers won the Super Bowl on the road.
He did. He
So,
did. Listen,
he
I
wasn't
get it.
always. I know it's a different team he's with now. We'll see what he is like at MetLife. Where
I would rather Kansas City have to come to MetLife.
Agreed.
fair. Oh yeah, 100%. But
And that's my point overall, John, is that the Jets have a chance this year to make that happen. Okay. And the only thing standing in the way of that is themselves and the coaching staff. And knock on wood, injuries. Okay. So we got out of that game unscathed. Thank God. Rodgers, to me, it's exciting that we have a quarterback. It's exciting. I hadn't had a feeling like this about a quarterback that we've had in a long time. So that part of it makes me feel good. But of course, we can't have that without having something else go wrong. And that's where, to me, it's like it's just disheartening.
Yeah, I think what the disheartening thing is, at least for me watching that game, is the Jets on paper are so talented. Like the talent discrepancy between the 49ers and the Jets really isn't that big in terms of on paper. So I think where a lot of Jets fans' disappointment came from that game is that was the measuring stick as to what this team should be. And the fact that the Niners kind of blew the brakes off them early, especially taking out that really talented defense, it left a lot of fans disappointed. That's the probable NFC representative for the Super Bowl. So as a Jets fan, you probably wanted to at least be in the game and lose maybe by like a score or like
We did. We did, man. That after that third possession, you're up 7-3. You're thinking, okay, we could work with this. Maybe we win this game tonight if everything we need turnovers to go our way. We need to not drop passes and we need to stop the run. And none of those things happened.
Yeah. I just think to Dan's point, the only thing that can derail the Jets this year are the Jets. The coaching staff, in my opinion, being the number one thing. I think the Jets cannot afford to be outcoached the way they were on Monday night. They got to go into Tennessee. Tennessee has a rookie head coach. There's no reason why the Jets shouldn't go in there and dominate all three phases of the ball. And that's what we need to see. And if we see that, we know week one was just you played the 49ers in San Francisco. So that's my belief. I think that's still what's going to happen. So with that being said, let's get to our picks for next week and kind of start to wrap this up here a little bit. Because we're coming on almost midnight here on the East Coast. So we're going to make our picks for week 2, our game of the week, blowout, upset, fantasy player, sleeper, all that good stuff. So first game, Thursday night, tomorrow, divisional game, Bills Dolphins. These games are always fun. They're always high scoring. This is actually my game of the week because there's not really too many great matchups to really go through this week. I'm going to take the Bills in Miami, just mainly because of Josh Allen's brilliance. And I was just very shocked to see how flat the Miami came out that first half against the Jaguars. And also Miami's hurt. Mostert's been ruled out. A-Chain's a game time decision. They're probably not going to be able to run the ball very well. The offensive line's was really leaky for them week 1, 2. So I'm gonna take the Bills. I know Miami, Josh Allen has a problem sometimes playing Miami and the Jets, but I'm gonna take the Bills in Miami for this one.
I thought about this for a while, and what it comes down to for me is these two teams will most likely split with each other this year and will probably win at home. Okay, so that's why I just figure And I get the Dolphins are banged up, but you know what? Josh Allen's banged up too. The Bills aren't as talented. I've got the Dolphins. The Dolphins at home are actually 2.5-point favorites. So I'm just taking the Dolphins.
I am also taking the Dolphins, and Ray Tremor got his picks in. Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I'm also taking over. The over under number is 49. I'm going with the over.
Hammer the over.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bills this week. I just like the Bills going into this game. I just think that the Dolphins running backs are just banged up. I don't know what their backups are going to look like. And I don't know. The Dolphins didn't look good for 3 quarters last week. Not that I'm saying the Jaguars are a pushover or anything, but I don't think that they're anything that special. And they're versing a division rival in the Bills, and I think that the Bills are better than what people think. I'm taking the Bills. I can't bet against Josh Allen.
All right, next game, 49ers Vikings. Vikings home opener. I don't really think I'm ever going to pick against the 49ers, whether it be them being at home or away. I'm taking the 49ers.
Yeah. The Vikings are getting 6 points at home. I just think that they're a well-oiled machine with or without Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the Mason as a backup looked great. I mean, he brings kind of a different style, more the punishing runner style. They just look good in all phases, and they've got a. By the way, Moody, great kicker. I mean, this guy was. What did this guy hit, like 7 field goals in a row for them at one point? I mean, it's unbelievable. So, yeah, I think the Niners just overpower them.
Yeah. Niners money line. Ray is taking the Vikings getting 6.
And also worth noting, the over under is 45.5, and I'm actually going to go with the under.
The ballsiest pick of the week. The upset of the week. The Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are going to win at home. As they did last year. They were at home. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Niners. And
That's true. They did do that.
I think Sam Darnold is going to prove that he is a starter in this league Tuesday. Not week 2. What am I saying? Tuesday.
If he has a bad game against the Niners, I mean, you could almost say that, like, he's still like maybe a middling to low end starter, even if he has a bad game against the Niners.
I expect the Niners to win, but I have a little nice gut instinct that there's going to be a little change in plans. So, taking the Vikings.
All right, next Seahawks Patriots. This one was tougher than I thought it would be, but I'm just gonna ride with the Seahawks. They looked very, very good at home against Denver. I know they're flying across the country to play in Boston, but there's no talent on New England. So unless you're the Bengals and decide to throw up on yourselves, the Seahawks should win this game.
I agree. I've got the Seahawks. They're getting or they're 3.5-point road favorites. And I've got the over under at 38.5. I'm hammering the under in that game.
Seattle money line. I'm taking it, and Ray is taking Seattle giving 3.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks. I like them much better this week against New England, despite their complete upset against the Bengals. So I'm taking the Seahawks.
Next, Giants versus the Commanders. Their home opener. I'm taking the Commanders. I'm not picking the Giants again. I'm just not. As long as Daniel Jones is the starter, I'm not picking them. The only time that I'll probably pick them the rest of the year is when they're in Germany playing the Panthers, because that's the only team they'll probably beat. So,
Yeah, I might take the Giants at home later this year against the Commanders, but not on the road. I agree. I can't possibly take the Giants to win a football game right now, like you said, except when they play the Panthers.
yeah, I agree. They'll probably split with the Commanders later in the year, but not in Washington, D.C. It's just not happening. Jaden Daniels will have his coming out party because this is just how it works. So,
Yeah, the Commanders are -1.5 point favorites, and the over under is 44. I'm going with the under.
Yeah, no faith in the Giants, unfortunately. I just got to take Washington.
Yeah. Commanders money line. Ray has former Giants fan, now solely Eagles fan. Ray is taking Washington Commanders, giving 1.5.
all right.
That's amazing. Former Giants fan.
That's so rude.
Oh God, it really is.
My blowout of the week, Chargers versus Panthers. It's just, I'm never picking the Panthers to win. Just literally never. Telling you that right now. Save everyone the time and energy from now until January. I'm never picking the Panthers. So
Yeah.
Chargers blowout.
It's actually amazing that the line is only that the Chargers are only giving 6 points in this game. So I'm taking the Chargers giving those points, and I'm taking the over a 39.
Yeah. Chargers, I'm taking money line. Ray's given 6.5 points. Book it. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing John's going, or did I not hear it?
What was I thought we already went over this. I thought I said it already.
Did you say Chargers?
I said Chargers. I said Chargers.
Did anyone
I
else
thought I
hear
said Chargers.
I didn't hear him.
No, I'm picking the Chargers.
Okay. That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure it was set on camera.
You guys were
It
waiting
was
for me.
it
I
was
thought,
a silent
like,
pick.
everyone was looking at me. I'm like, did nobody hear me?
I guess not. Saints Cowboys, Jerry World. I'm picking the Cowboys in Jerry World against Derek Carr and the Saints. I think Derek Carr, now that he's playing a real football team,
Slander.
will show that he's not
slander.
all special superhuman quarterback that we saw against the XFL team.
Yeah.
Micah is going to have a couple sacks. The Saints are not a good football team. I'm sorry. They're just not. They don't have a good head coach. They have a couple of weapons and a very piss poor defense. They're not a very good team. The Cowboys are going to show everybody that they're not a very good team. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
I agree. And the Cowboys are given 6.5 points. And I'm taking the over, or I'm sorry, I'm taking the under. The line is 46.5. I agree. I think that Carr basically had a bye week. They played a game against UT San Antonio essentially. So I'm not putting any stock at all in what he did against the Panthers.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
And
the Cowboys, that's an easy pick.
My upset special of the week.
You loser.
The last time Derek Carr played the Cowboys, it was on Thanksgiving, and he ruined a lot of Cowboys fans' Thanksgiving. Gonna ruin a lot of Cowboys fans' Sunday when he wins. Boom. And Ray Tremor has the Cowboys giving 6.5.
Man,
goodness gracious.
Some beta mentality there.
Oh, I forgot my blowout of the week was the Chargers against the Panthers, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, well, it's
it's like a given.
It doesn't have to be said or anything.
Right. Right. I should have just shut my mouth.
So
Pete, are you gonna get something right soon? I mean, Dak Prescott to the Raiders.
I don't
Bad
know.
game.
Ask Zach about the upset special, sleeper special, Sam Darnold against the Giants. Ask him if I got that right.
He did hit. He did
Okay.
hit that.
Okay.
He did. He
Yeah,
did hit that one.
He did hit that one because
Was that in necessarily an upset? Who was even the favorite in that game?
the Vikings were the favorite.
They were the favorite. Oh, so it wasn't fully, I guess,
No.
an upset.
Sleeper pick.
No, he's the sleeper fantasy pick
Sleeper pick.
was
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Giants actually got 2 points at home.
Yeah.
And they needed them.
Yeah.
They needed 20 more.
I was gonna say they needed 10 times that.
Next is we're gonna move on. Next is the Colts versus Packers. I'm gonna take the Colts. This is the Packers with Malik Willis at the helm, so I'm probably not gonna pick the Packers too often until Jordan Love comes back. So it was pretty easy picking the Colts.
Yeah, you normally don't see the Packers giving points to a team like the Colts, but because of the injury, they're giving 3 points. I'm taking the Colts, and the line is 41. I'm actually going to go with the under.
Ray has Colts giving 3.5 on this one. Yeah, I got to no, I'm sorry. He has them both circled, so I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's got him given and taken. So I'm gonna step in and say that the Colts are going to wash out the Packers this week.
We're going to need him to come on the podcast next time and clarify that pick for the world.
Yes.
He's got a double circle. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I got the Colts. Fuck the Packers. I don't give a shit about that team. So sick of that team.
Well,
That's a biased statement.
It is. I have every right.
Mhm.
On to the next game. I don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
Browns, Jaguars. Browns are going from Cleveland to Jacksonville. This is actually my upset of the week. I'm going to take the Browns in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is historically bad against a really good defense, and Cleveland still has a top 5 defense in the league. I think Myles Garrett has a great game. Denzel Ward's locked down. Even with Deshaun Watson just shitting all over himself on the field, I think Amari Cooper gets more involved because Jacksonville's secondary is not good. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one in Jacksonville.
I agree with you. This is also my upset of the week for virtually the same reasons that you just said. I think this is, it's kind of a trap game, so to speak, for the Jaguars. I think that, I think their defense could be a little overpowering at times, regardless of how ineffective the quarterback is for their team. So, yeah, I've got them given 3, and I'm going with the over of 41.5 points.
Family pick so far. Ray and I also have Cleveland.
Yeah, I think we're all going Cleveland here. I think
Oh man, for Ray to go Cleveland too, that's a big deal. I mean, T Law is his boy.
I think
That's
the
his other
massage
boy.
guy is gonna come out and really massage that football out to his receivers this week and come off with the
Oh God,
What are we doing?
terrible,
man.
terrible.
Trevor Lawrence, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I just never was. I think he's the most overhyped first round pick I've ever seen. It's just he's not living up to the hype. Not really not buying into his talent anymore.
I get it. I'm kind
A
of
little
with you.
overrated.
I'm kind of with you. Jets, Titans. Jets on the road again against Tennessee. I think the Jets, like I said earlier, should smash this fucking team. If it wasn't the Chargers playing the Panthers, this would have been my blowout of the week too. Will Levis and the Titans just so far look like a disaster. So I'm taking the Jets easily here.
Yeah, I have no choice but to take the Jets here. Given the 3.5, and I've got the over of 40.5 points.
Smash down on the Jets on this one. This is my blowout of the week. Ray Tremor. Oh.
Did he pick Tennessee?
No.
He picked
no. His circling is off. That's why. He's got the Jets giving 3.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets. I think this is a no-brainer. Total bounce back game for them. I think they get it right this week. Not really too much of a believer in the Mayo coffee drinker. So let's get a Rodgers dub.
Fade that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Next is Bucks Lions, another Detroit home game. I love the way Baker and the Bucks are playing, but they're not the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions in a shootout here, though. Very high scoring game. I'm going to take the Lions.
Yeah, I'm following you on that. A part of me wanted to take the Bucks to cover, but I don't think they will. I think they'll lose by like 10 or 13 points or something like that. The Lions are given 7.5 points, and I'm taking the over of 51.5.
This is my matchup of the week because I feel like this is going to be one of those bangers that it's just going to be bomb after bomb after bomb. And I feel like Dan Campbell's got those boys gassed up. And they're going to hit him with the KO punch. Thunder and lightning, Montgomery and Gibbs. Going to be too much for Baker and the boys. Ray Tremor is taking the Bucks with the points.
Yeah, I think this is my game of the week. I love this game. I don't know why this is a 1:00 game. They should have moved this to a 4:25 or some sort of primetime game. I'm going with an upset here. I think the Bucks, based off how they played last week, not everyone is going to get a favorite. Not every favorite's going to win. It doesn't happen in the NFL. I like the Bucks here. So I think the Bucks are going to pull off the win. I loved how Baker played last week.
You think outright they're going to win, or are you taking
Like
the
money line, the money line straight up, they're going to
money
win.
line?
Yep. I think they come
Wow.
out with yeah. You got to remember, dude, this is the NFL. Not everyone wins not every favorite
No,
wins.
that's true. I mean, this could be one of those weeks that they get taken by surprise by
This is my game of the week.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good right there. Raiders, Ravens. I picked the Raiders last week. I went with my heart. I'm not going with my heart. The Ravens are going to win. This is their home opener. Yeah, Antonio Pierce has something to prove to me and that offense because neither was good. I'm going to take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Pete. This is, I want to find like a silver lining in what the Raiders did last week, but I can't find enough to say that they could cover the 8.5 points that the Ravens are giving them. And I'm going to take the over of 41.
Well, I'm never not going to pick the Raiders, so you know where I'm going. Raiders money line.
You can't be serious.
I take them all fucking day.
He picked
I will never bet against my team. Ray has the Ravens giving 9.5. Listen, you never fucking know. Not all the favorites can win.
You're right. You know what?
know.
You're Pete. You're right. You're right. I hope that they do win.
Hey, also 8.5 points is still a lot. So
it is. It is. This is unfortunately my blowout of the week. I think the Ravens come off with the win. I hope the Raiders win. I hope they do. I am a Raider. I am not a fan of the Raiders, but if my team is out, I root for the Raiders. So
all right.
go Raiders, but Ravens I think are going to win.
Rams Cardinals in Arizona. I'm gonna go with the Rams. Not liking how the Cardinals finished that game, left a sour taste in my mouth against the Bills. I'm gonna go with the Rams. Matt Stafford still looks good. Cooper Kupp still pretty elite. Sean McVay and them, they have a history of just beating the crap out of the Cardinals. And even though I do think Marvin Harrison starts to get a little bit more involved week 2, I don't think it's enough. I think the Rams get the dub.
This is my game of the week. There's something about this game that's attractive to me as far as a competitive standpoint. It's only the Cardinals are given 1.5 points at home, and the line is 49. I'm going to go with the under, and I'm going to take the Rams, but I think that this is the game of the week.
Yeah, I got the Rams. Ray's got the Rams getting 1.5. Kyler Murray's thumbs are so sore from playing fucking Call of Duty by this point that he got fucking bandages on them, and they have like the little red splotches from the blisters blowing out and bleeding through. He is cooked. Fade him. Sorry, Marvin Harrison Jr. You got to wait till next year till they get a quarterback.
Oof.
Yeah, I got the Rams here. I think that they are like you said, they just own the Cardinals. I actually got Cooper Kupp as my fantasy player of the week. No Puka Nakua, so like I said, Matt Stafford's got that crush on Cooper Kupp. He's gonna be really throwing him the ball this week.
Let's go.
Rams
I agree.
here.
Cooper Kupp was also my fantasy player of the week. So that's 2 right there. Next, Bengals Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs. This is another one of those teams where I'm probably not going to pick against them much because they do have the Michael Jordan of quarterbacks. So taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I wanted every reason under the sun to go with the Bengals in this one, but how could you possibly, coming off of that week 1 performance against one of the, like you guys already said, one of the lesser talented teams in the league, in the Patriots, the fact that they just basically ran all over them. I don't have any faith in them in this game. It's too early for this game to be here for the Bengals. Unfortunately, I think if this game were played later on in the year, maybe the Bengals would have a chance, but I don't think they have a chance right now.
Yeah, it's 3-peat Central. Kansas City, they're home again. It's book it. Chiefs win money line. Our boy Ray Tremor, formerly known as Ray Tremor, the Giants fan, now known as Ray Tremor, the Joe Burrow Bengals fan, has the Bengals getting 6 points on the road.
Yeah, I had the line at 5.5, so I would take the Chiefs given 5.5, and I also have the under of 47.5 because I think it's going to be more defensive than offensive.
Does that hurt you saying that, Pete? 3-peat season as a Raider fan?
I've just come to expect it. I respect the greatness of Mahomes because
I respect that you respect that.
Listen.
I never experienced because I know
and say that I wouldn't want fucking Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. I wish I had Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. I wish I had somebody that had the talent in his pinky as my quarterback that Patrick Mahomes possesses.
I feel for you because you're in the Dan Nick era of football with the previous Brady division.
Where you're the underdog every year because the best quarterback in the world is in your division.
I feel for you. But yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. Bengals just too early in the season, like Dan said. Maybe if this was a week 10 Thanksgiving time coming up type game, just too early. Burrow doesn't look healthy to me. Their receivers aren't. We don't even know if they're healthy. I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right. Steelers Broncos in Denver. I picked against Steelers last week. I'm not doing it again, especially against a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. TJ Watt is going to eat Bo Nix alive on the middle of the field. Sean Payton's got to find a new quarterback as Bo Nix is going to be in fucking TJ Watt's shit in the
A
toilet.
wheelchair.
So, I have the Steelers crushing the Broncos.
Yeah. I don't have it necessarily as them crushing.
Crush.
I have the Steelers giving 2.5 points on the road. I think 2.5 points is a great line for the Steelers. I think that's easy for them to cover. And I like the over of 36.5 for the game.
Yeah, I'm going. Ray and I are both going Steelers. He has them giving 3 points. Mike Tomlin is 24-6 against rookie quarterbacks as a head coach. He's not losing to Bo Nix. Bo don't know.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. I agree with Dan. I don't know if I could say the word crushed because their offense is still such a riddle. But their defense is going to win them 8-9 games this year.
Yeah.
And they're gonna just outschool Denver. Tomlin's gonna outcoach Sean Payton. Even with the much better quarterback play, it doesn't matter to me. I think that they're just gonna come out with the win and call it a day. Steelers take the stub.
Well, in any given week, Justin Fields could have a better game than Bo Nix still, to me. I mean, I understand
Sure,
that.
we don't know
Nix,
what Bo Nix is yet.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. Bears, Texans in Houston. I'm so not picking the Bears. Sorry, Nakasi. I'm going with the Texans here. I think they continue to show that they're a strong team and a strong contender in the AFC. And I think Caleb Williams has a real tough time against Houston in Houston, especially with D'Amico Ryans coaching against him. So I don't think it's going to be pretty for Caleb. I'm taking the Texans.
Yeah, I wanted to take the Texans as I really looked at this game as my blowout of the week, but then I realized that the Bears are still kind of a pretty talented team offensively, and they might still score some points. So I've got the Texans given 6 points. I agree that Caleb Williams is going to get exposed, just like Ray said. Against a good defense like this, I mean, you could almost lock it down that he's going to get exposed. So yeah, give me the Texans, and I'll take the over of 45.5.
Yeah, family pick so far. Ray and I both take Texans. He's got them given 7. CJ Stroud is going to come out on Sunday Night Football and show the entire world why this is his MVP come out.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Texans this week as well. I'm taking the Texans. It's just no brainer on my pick. I mean, better head coach, better quarterback, better receivers. I mean,
Just all
their
around.
run game.
Yeah.
There's just I think that they win at least by 2 touchdowns.
Top to bottom, they're a better team.
Better
They
team.
just are.
Better, way better coach team.
All right. Monday Night Football, the final game of week 2. Falcons, Eagles in Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Eagles against the Falcons. I think the Falcons start 0-2. Again, I think they're still trying to gel a little bit, but the Eagles are one of the more talented teams in the NFC, and I just think at home they're tough. They're just a tough out at home. I think Jalen Hurts hopefully Jalen Hurts cleans up the turnovers, but if he turns the ball over, the Falcons have the offensive firepower to really do some damage, but I like the Eagles at home.
Yeah, I struggled with this one too because the line is 6.5 that the Eagles are given. And to me, that's a lot of points with the idea that Hurts has been turning the ball over lately, right? So this was a tough one. I still think the Eagles could cover 6.5. But give me the under of 47. I think that, I think the Falcons defense has a chance to keep this one close and low scoring.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I think this one's an easy pick. Kirk Cousins doesn't look right yet. That offense, Saquon Barkley looked too fucking good in his debut. I think they keep that momentum going with him. I got the Eagles. Ray's taking the Eagles, given 6.5.
Yeah, I got the Eagles as well. There's potential for both teams to play sloppy Monday. I can guarantee you my prediction is I know this Falcons team is going to play sloppy. Monday night in Philly. I don't like that for Kirk and the Falcons. So taking the Eagles. I like the under, Dan said as well. So I don't think this is going to be too high scoring. I think this is going to be a handful of fumbles, some picks. But Eagles will come
Tough
out with the
defensive
win.
game.
Yeah, this will be some sort of a defensive game. If it does pull away, it's because of another Saquon freak game.
All right. What is everybody's fantasy player of the week? Me and John already revealed ours. We have Cooper Kupp.
I got J.K. Dobbins.
Ooh. I like that one.
Ray's fantasy player of the week will be facing none other than his former team, the New York Giants. He is taking Jaden Daniels.
Oh man, he's betting big against the Giants.
That's a good take.
Wow.
Took the shovel and he's throwing the dirt on the grave right now.
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. He's done. He's done.
In his defense, every Giants fan is done.
Yeah.
Then now his fan on a
Every
pod.
Giants fan should be done. I mean, it's just a disgrace what we're watching right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I'm excited for it.
why don't you go for
My
it?
fantasy player of the week. I do.
Yes, that was great.
That's what I think about that.
Oh man.
What's your fantasy player, Pete?
I like Jonathan Taylor going against the Packers. And for my super duper player, it's MVP come out time. CJ Stroud on Sunday night.
What
All right.
is the sleeper fantasy player of the week? My sleeper is Ramondre Stevenson to continue off of the 120 rushing yard game he had against the Bengals. I think he's the focal point of the offense, and they're going to feed him.
I'm going to call this a sleeper just because he's not technically the starter on the depth chart, but I'm going Jaylen Warren for the Steelers. I just think that we're coming up on a time where Mike Tomlin's going to get, he's going to start to lose patience with Najee Harris, and he's going to start to want to mix in Jaylen Warren a little bit more. And I think that's going to start sooner than later. So I'm picking this week.
My sleeper pick of the week is Zach Moss for garbage time points. They're going to dump him the ball when they're getting their ass beat in the fourth quarter and dump. And I think he's going to go over 20 to 25 points. That's my sleeper of the week. Zach Moss.
Okay.
He's not going to do much in the first half. He'll get some points, but just to keep it down the stretch of the year when you see the final score box of the game, whether it's, when they're up by 30 to 14 and they make it 30 to 31-21 or whatever, they're going to dump the ball off to Zach Moss. That's my sleeper pick of the week.
I like it.
Sleeper pick of the week. All right. Ray is going with DK Metcalf this week. Interesting.
Is that because he didn't do anything last week? I mean, what makes DK Metcalf a sleeper pick? I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna need somebody to clear that one up for me. I think though.
Well, we'll have to get him to clarify that when he's back on here.
DK Metcalf. I mean, last time I checked, he's a must play player if he's on your team.
Maybe he has his reasons. You don't know.
I don't know. I just want to hear what Ray has to say. That's all. Ray, get your ass on the podcast next week.
Ray, we miss.
Yeah, we miss you. I love you.
The fact that Ray has not been present for week 1 and 2 is very, very.
I feel like a lot of pent up vengeance and anger that just needs to come out of that body.
Yes. We were robbed of him yelling and screaming about his, or you know what, maybe he's past the point of yelling and screaming about it, but we were robbed about, hearing what his opinion of the Giants was this week.
We were.
Yeah, I'm past yelling and screaming.
And I get that. I've been there.
So
my sleeper of the week. I got 2. It was Dano's fantasy player of the week, Dobbins. I like that pick. That's a sleeper.
Okay.
Pick. That's a sleeper pick. But my good sleeper, Luke McCaffrey.
Oh, Luke McCaffrey. Okay. Against the Giants.
Against the Giants. Former team, New York Giants.
Oh, by the way, don't forget about Lad McConkey.
I like that.
Lad.
He's going to lead the team in targets every week.
Yep, I agree.
Can we? I just want to say one real quick thing that we didn't get to touch upon. Can we talk about Brandon Aubrey just nonchalant clearing a 66-yard kick and then getting ready to go out there for 71 yards?
I think he could have made it.
And then they they said, "No, we're not going to do it."
I think that was a missed opportunity. I think they could have. I think he could have
made a leg like that since my boy number 11, the Polish cannon Sebastian Janikowski.
Yeah.
Yard bombs.
That big drunk Polak.
I was impressed. Very impressive.
I might have to get that on our official sponsor, DHgate. That might have to be my jersey that I walk into Miami against Michael Tellup and the Dolphins with. I feel like
I respect that.
That's a banger jersey right there.
I like that one. I do like that one.
Shout out Brandon Aubrey. Your 21 points in fantasy helped me beat
Pete
in this.
Pete in Miami. Tim Brown or Charles Woodson?
Oh, listen, I have.
You gotta bring the big guns to Miami with you. You're trying to lead an army of Raiders fans in there. You better bring a leader Raider jersey in there. I want to see Woodson. I want to see Tim Brown. I want to see Gannon. I want to see Jerry Rice. I want to see anything like that.
Oh, listen,
anything like that.
OG Tim Brown from the 02 season. So,
do it, dust it off and wear that one proudly in Miami.
Excellent. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. This is what pretty much the episodes are going to be for the rest of football season. They're going to be long because we got to catch up on all the action that happens. So look for the show to be pretty much 2+ hours moving forward. But thank you everyone for listening, watching. Thank you, John, for hopping on as a guest this week. I've always appreciative.
Your favorite Italian?
Puccio.
Everyone's favorite Italian.
That's right.
Like, subscribe. Hit us up in the comments. We're posting now. Get us on the Instagram. Get us on YouTube. Get us on Spotify. 1,000 subscribers. Ray's getting a tube. He doesn't know it yet. We're gonna pierce his nipple too.
Damn. It's so crazy that Ray's just become our crash test dummy.
Yep. I agree.
No, me, Ray with a mane of hair like Clay Matthews back in the day. Come on.
Oh, that'd be pretty epic.
Oh man.
And
with
then
with the
just-
pierced nipple.
You
Yeah.
should just make an AI picture of it.
With
No.
the
Don't give
With
us
him
any
with a
ideas.
full head of hair.
with
No.
with the American flag as his cape and the bald eagle like this.
All right, that's a,
And a beer in his hand.
I'm hitting AI hard next week. Look for a Ray Tremor drop this week.
Nice.
Oh no.
At 1,001 subscribers, I'll grow out a Fu Manchu for the podcast.
Ooh.
Pete, I will match your Fu Manchu if we reach
Oh,
1,000 subscribers.
1,002 subscribers.
I
Fu
will
Manchu.
match it.
Oh,
Wow. I love
Yep. I will wear it for as long as Pete wears it if we get 1,000 subscribers.
oh.
that's epic. I love that pledge. That's fantastic. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for watching, listening, liking, subscribing, commenting, all those lovely, lovely things that Pete has mentioned. Good luck to all the sports bettors and fantasy football players this week. I hope to continue my heater that I was on the first week. Hit 6 bets over the weekend. Gonna try.
Share your bets with us.
I
Yeah,
share.
yeah. Share your bets over there.
I'll share. Don't this week. Don't worry.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Mhm.